Hello?
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi! Yay! We're all back. And apparently I can't hear Addie.
Oh no, Addie stepped away for a second.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay, cool.
Sorry, I'm talking to Amy.
Oh, alright, right. So, hi!
So I am the worst.
Why are you the worst?
I just realized it's 8 o'clock and I haven't let my dog out because I'm used to like David and my mom being home by now. And I knew that they weren't going to be home until a little bit later, but I thought they would be home like an hour ago. And so poor Loki has been in here,
Oh,
like
no!
pacing around and looking at me. And I'm like, it just didn't even register like that's what was going on. And I'm looking at him in his sad face and I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, the poor
He
puppy!
needs to go outside. So, I will be a moment. I apologize.
If nothing else, can we all get in the, in, group
Yeah,
together?
well, apparently Birdie's not on yet.
I'm not. I'm the worst.
Oh my God, I thought I was the worst.
So, wait. Does that mean that I need to do something to be the worst?
Just die a bunch.
No,
I
that's
was just gonna say
typical.
you're already the worst without even trying.
And we're off.
You know what? Bong!
Alright, I'm getting in now.
Oh my God.
Man, we're not even drunk tonight either.
Oh, I know, right? I just have water.
I have bacon.
I have milk.
Milk. Oh my God.
I'm eventually gonna have milk and saltwater taffy, probably. I think tonight will be brought to you by a hamburger with an egg on it and saltwater taffy.
All right, so I am gonna let my poor doggy out, and then I will be back. I apologize. Be right back.
It's all
It's all
good.
Need to remember precisely like how many mouse buttons I have and all of that garbage.
Malefa, it's not that I'm the worst at D3, it's just I'm the worst among the three of these, of us here. Guess that's not really helping my case, is it?
Drop the shovel, man.
Well, I would, but apparently my stash is almost completely full. Jesus. I honestly thought I was going to, like, fix this or something.
You're hilarious.
Let's see. So, I also have a sleeping kitty behind me. Well, she was for a second ago, and now she's giving me the death stare. That must be the poor pupper. Yes, tonight is brought to you by hamburger with an egg on it because, oh God, that was good.
And bacon.
And bacon.
It's brought to you by bacon because Kitty Cat is wrong. I got into a fight with them this weekend about, or earlier this week about red velvet cake.
Mmm. Hi, she.
Hi, she.
Yeah, what was the thing about the red velvet cake?
Kat was asserting that red velvet cake is flavorless and awful, and that cream cheese icing is gross, and I was telling them how incredibly wrong they were.
Seems legit. No. Okay, time to cube all the things. Oh, apparently Inara has decided to shift.
How is my favorite god of destruction?
She peepin'.
Oh, a peepin'.
Cream cheese icing is the only icing that matters.
I agree.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, like I've had red velvet cake is not my rabid favorite or anything, but they were claiming that it's completely flavorless, and I'm like, then you've not had good red velvet cake, because red velvet cake does have flavor. It tastes like chocolate, like literally by design.
Yeah, we don't have, I don't know if we have our resident professional baker, but isn't it like the real, actual, honest-to-goodness red velvet cake, the reason why it's red velvet is because of a chemical reaction?
Yes, it is, because I actually just heard about this on Splendid Table today.
Ooh.
So back in the day, before there was Dutch processed cocoa powder, you only had raw cocoa powder, and raw cocoa powder, when introduced to no, I think it just on its own turns red. It like and not like red velvet cake is today, where it's literally there's a quarter of a cup of food coloring in the cake. But it would turn it kind of this ruddy brown, reddish brown, kind of a brick color. Instead of like a devil's food cake that's, you know, almost black. And when you add in an acid, such as usually you use white vinegar, because you would use that to activate your baking soda anyway. In the presence of that, it made the red color just a little bit deeper, and it also set it really nicely when it baked, so it didn't turn brown, it stayed red. And so that's why red velvet cake is red. Then when Dutch processed cocoa powder kind of became a thing, it sort of fell by the wayside in terms of until people started readily having access to red food coloring. And now and I'm not making this up, you put a quarter of a cup of red food coloring in your average red velvet cake recipe. Yeah, it's disgusting. I would much prefer the actual stuff, which you can still find. It's a specialty item now instead of what you would normally have. Hi, we're talking about cake. I'm giving a history lesson on red velvet cake.
I love red velvet cake.
Well, then we'll all have to team up on Kitty Cat when they arrive, because we had a fight on Facebook about whether or not red velvet cake was delicious.
It's obviously fucking delicious. It's like the most popular wedding cake flavor for a reason.
We did not have it. We had Italian cream cake and lemon cake, and I think, and then the groom's cake was chocolate.
Yeah, ask us just how much we actually got to have of that.
I had almost nothing.
Same. It was the one bite.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
he fed me the one bite of wedding cake. I take that back. I think I went and stole a bite of my dad's because I wanted some of the Italian cream cake. And my dad had that, and so I went and stole it from him. So I got one more bite.
Oh boy.
Pro tip: ask for the top tier of your wedding cake if you want to do the year anniversary.
I did not.
Thing. If you want it to actually taste decent, get pound cake because it freezes well.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you can they recommend you can freeze pound cake.
We had our bottom tier was red velvet. Our middle tier was banana, I think, and our top tier was carrot cake.
Carrot cake.
Tasty.
And the bottom two tiers, I think, had... Oh shit, what was it? I forget what it was called. It was like Swedish meringue or something? Was that what it was? Fuck, I don't remember what it was called. But it was some kind of meringue. Like, it was called something meringue. I don't know. Whatever, it doesn't fucking matter.
Good cake.
And anyway...
Duck's groom cake was like super it was like the chocolatiest chocolate I could manage, and then the top tier of that one was raspberry filling, and then the rest were chocolate because the raspberry filling was like super expensive. She would make it with Chambord, so I only did the top tier.
Yeah, we didn't have a groom cake. We had just our cake, which like the red velvet I figured was one that like everybody would like, and then the banana was kind of more for me, and the carrot was more for David. And then my aunt also brought 17 other cakes, which is not an exaggeration.
Oh my lord!
I never
Yeah.
got any of the
But hey,
cake.
cake.
Yeah. My aunt
never
was like,
got
"Oh
any
yeah,
of
I'll
the what?"
bring like 12 cakes or something," and she fucking comes marching in with 17 of them. I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, I never got any of the groom's cake, and I didn't even get. I got the one bite that you're supposed to do for the wedding cake, and that was it. Oh god, I was hungry. There's a reason. There's a reason that there are, like, in our wedding photos, there is a picture of me getting ice cream in my tux from a food vendor.
Oh my gosh, it's the cutest. It's my favorite of our wedding pictures, hands down. It's Duck in his decked out in his silver and black
Oh
tux,
god, I love that tux.
standing at an ice cream vendor, like waiting in line with this little kid in front of him who's like staring up and paying, and then Charlie standing behind with his hands in his pockets. It's the cutest picture. I wish I should dig it out and put it up.
Yeah, we really need to put those up.
Duck was very handsome. Well, I mean, like, the only reason I never did is because, like, the best wedding picture was not snapped by the wedding photographer. It was, E.G. E.G. got it. Which was the one of us laughing at David's, best man speech.
Mm-hmm. There was that. There was also the one of, like, Dad was talking to me about something, and I was holding your train, and you, like, it was either the photographer or it was Mama Bird that caught your eye, and you looked and just, you did the motion like you were planning on leaving.
And it looks like he's got me by the dress, and I'm trying to get away. It was...
I just posted a link there.
Holy damn.
My mom kind of got carried away and hired a fruit artist, which was a surprise to us. And then, yeah, my aunt came in with those like 17 cakes. And my mom also did that candy table because I had mentioned once offhand that I thought candy tables were cool at weddings. And
honestly, it's a really cool idea.
Which, I mean, yeah, but it's like, you know, I didn't expect it, right? Like, it was just kind of, I figured it was going to be pretty expensive, so I was like, oh, you know, don't worry about it. And my mom just went to Bulk Barn and, like, made it. Which, oh, I don't think you guys have Bulk Barn.
Costco.
It's not like Costco. This is, like, literally a place that is just dedicated to things. Hold on, let me...
Oh, God, I want that pineapple really bad.
Right?
I need to show pictures here. Let me see if I can. It seems to be a Canadian thing, I guess.
The candy bar?
No, the Bulk Barn.
Ah.
Here we go. This is a good image.
We sort of did candy, but we didn't have... It wasn't a candy bar like that, but it was like... Because our wedding was very late, like it was after the dinner hours, so we did like all desserts. And it was all like... There were chocolate dipped strawberries, and I think I had a chocolate fountain, I don't remember.
Yeah,
I was busy dancing.
That picture shows you what Bulk Barn is like. There's a couple of aisles of just candy, and there's like every type of flour, every type of rice, every type of fucking chocolate, every type of, like, you know, baker's chocolate or whatever. Like, so there's like white chocolate for melting, and there's bakery stuff above it, like, you know, cake decorating kits and cookie decorating kits and like candy bag kits and all that kind of stuff. And like um there's all sort, like every kind of nut you can think of, every kind of coffee, every kind of tea, because there's like a coffee grinder there, so you can get your own beans and grind them there and get the bag. You can make your own tea blends while you're fucking there, because
Oh
it's
my
like all
God.
just in those like little plastic bins basically, and you're just scooping in what you want, like.
That's
And it's
really
all,
cool.
yeah, it's all charged by weight. So yeah, as you can see, that would be where my mom got
Yeah.
all her stuff. And apparently that's not really a thing in the States.
Nope, not like that.
It's not like that, but it's gotten to be a little bit of a thing because of places like Sprouts, Whole Foods. They will do like bulk flour, bulk rice, bulk
Yeah, and I
that
mean,
sort of
grocery
stuff.
stores will usually have like an aisle like that, or like something in the bakery section, like near the bread. They'll
Mhm.
have like a little setup that has like some candy and some flour and rice or whatever. But this is like an entire store dedicated to it.
They didn't do that until recently, and by recently I mean like the last 5 or 6 years. That did not become a thing in the States until really recently. You used to
Mhm.
buy everything already pre-measured, which is stupid.
Yeah, and like the bins of like almond butter, peanut butter, and you can get chunky, creamy. Obviously, you can fucking
Yes.
mix them. It doesn't really
Oh my
matter.
god.
Honey and different kinds of honey, and like I think they've got like cherries in syrup, and they've got like other types of like fruit and stuff in syrup. Um, and you know, just basically any like, oh, and like preserved fruit, like what are the dried fruits and stuff, and you can get like trail mixes and pretzels and like, I mean, that's pretty much like that's where we go to get our Halloween candy for our parties and stuff, like,
Nice.
because you can just get like one scoop of a couple of different things, and we can make like sort of a candy table like at the wedding, and you know, people can just get what they want.
Mhm.
So it's, yeah, I don't understand why that's not a thing
Popping icon for
everywhere.
just a second.
Yeah, there are like some novelty shops around that'll have those kinds of things. Like there's one place called It's Sugar, and they have little circular tables that have like different flavor gummies that you can just scoop up and put into a bag. And then they've got the goobers over here, and then they've got like all different kinds of boxed candy that's just lining all the walls. And oh, I've never had a Swedish berry or Finnish berry.
What?
I've
You
never
haven't
I've,
had a Swedish berry?
I've never even heard of them.
What?
Yeah.
They're so good. They're like Maynards. It's one of the Maynards candies. It's one of my favorite fucking things in the world, Swedish berries. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't understand. Like, you know, Americans say they have it better, but now I'm starting to doubt it.
Oh no, we don't. We totally don't have it better over here.
It's just things are cheaper down there because there's more people. But...
Well, it's cheaper if you buy at like Walmart, and in which case you have to you have to buy stuff in like, you know, like every 30 seconds or something in order to, because, you know, quality is sucky. Okay, Maynard's Swedish berries. You can get them on Amazon. Fantastic.
Of course you can. And they're fucking amazing. Swedish fish also are pretty good, but the Swedish berries are the best.
Oh, they
See,
also
Swedish
have.
fish I've heard of, and they're all right. They're not my favorite gummy candy. My favorite gummy candy is just good old fashioned gummy bears.
Oh, damn. Wine gums?
Yeah, wine gums are good.
Which, let's see. Sour Patch Kids, Cherry Blasters? I don't know about that.
They're cherry blasters just with the Sour Patch Kids sourness to them, because the regular sour cherry blasters are not as sour as the Sour Patch Kids ones.
I'm just gonna throw that in the link there, because hopefully that'll
There is a
transmit.
difference.
Yeah, I may have to try those. Have them for next week or something.
Oh, Birdie, did you ever get anything figured out about whether or not you're going to Fanable Fest?
I don't think I'm going to be able to because that
Okay.
weekend is my cousin's wedding.
Oh, stupid cousin.
I know. So if I'm going anywhere, I've got to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
at some other point-
Bailey's getting married, so
Yeah.
At some other point, you're gonna have to come visit Canada, and I'll take you to the fucking bulk barn.
Well, totally.
So
I'm gonna I'll drive up there so that I can like bring it back a carload of crap and be like, yeah, no, this is totally no.
And this is road trip
I'm
food.
not
We
bringing
got this at a
anything
gas
back. Yeah,
station.
And you can
It's a
get
road
proper
trip
Kinder
food.
Surprise, because apparently the Kinder Surprise that you guys have are like special for
It's
the
special for
US.
retarded Americans who they don't like choke and die on them.
This is very true. Because everything has to have a warning label on it, because, you know, otherwise someone will sue. Shall we
Alright,
try
yes.
this challenge thing?
Let's. Oh, then we have to get out of game. I don't know what this week's challenge is.
It's a Crusader thing.
Oh,
The minions of hell grow weaker.
we'll see, because we don't seem to do very well with them.
Yeah, well, we'll give it a shot.
Ooh, too much water.
Please don't die.
I was eating some rockets, which in American speak I believe is Smarties,
Oh, yeah.
because it's the candy stuff. Because in Canada, Smarties are really gross, not M&Ms.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Okay. Okay.
What do we got here?
Huh.
We got.
I think they're that way in the UK too, because I think I remember one time getting Smarties out of, or asking somebody to get me Smarties. It was, and yeah, it was ended up being really awful.
Alright.
All right, how do we do this?
Well, you want to keep one up all the time. Anytime that, like, every time that it's up and you're able to cast it, cast it.
yeah.
That's going to be your buddies there. We're going to want to hit 3 also every time we're able to.
Yep.
And
Let's see.
well, actually, I mean, like between 1, 2, 3, and 4, pretty much, I would say every time they're up, we're gonna hit it.
Yeah.
Cool.
2. Let's see.
Like when there's a cluster of enemies around us, 2 is gonna be a thing.
Yeah,
we
that
wanna
2 is your panic button.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the saltwater taffy's delicious. Speaking of favorite candies, and and I don't know that she's in channel, but thank you Arcane for the saltwater taffy. She went to
Saltwater
the
taffy's
OMG.
fucking amazing. Cause fuck freshwater taffy. But seriously, it's like, I don't know about, maybe it's just me, but I find that freshwater taffy is really difficult to chew. And it's a lot harder, and saltwater taffy is softer.
Yep.
So I prefer the softer. Alright, I feel like left kick is basically gonna be useless, but...
Yeah.
Because it's like, I mean, you have to be like right up against them. It's
You
probably only going to
shouldn't.
be good to generate wrath.
No, you shouldn't. Smite is supposed to deal damage up to 30 yards away. So it says.
No, but... well, it doesn't look like it. 30 yards isn't that much. Anyway,
Let's do the thing.
Yeah.
658? Okay. Alright. This is doable, I think. Maybe. Ah, shit. I hit the wrong button already. God, maybe I am bad at this.
maybe? I mean... Don't sell yourself short, Duck.
Oh, excuse me, will I not stand in stupid?
Patience.
Oh, hey, we got that one already. Damn, that went by fast.
Yeah, this seems to be doing better than a lot of those other ones. So far. But I mean, I don't want to speak too soon.
You don't want to do what? Tempt fate?
Tempt fate.
Yeah. Because we also don't have anything that helps us like go faster.
Now we do.
Oh.
Not yet. Bad luck for you,
You know what I meant
friend.
though, like.
Right.
Yeah, I know you require more wrath, asshole. Shut up.
Patience.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Hey, it's been a while since I've played Crusader, but I can do this. I can do this.
Light be down.
I'm actually kind of just running up to them and spamming too, because,
Yep.
down. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
Yeah, let's not stand in the stupid stuff.
Aww. Oh, conduit.
Yas.
Oh god, get
Not ready
over
yet.
there. What?
My wounds heal. Spider, light be damned.
Well, considering that all three of us are in here and I'm able to do like kill stuff on my own, I think that this build seems to be okay
Yeah, yeah.
for the difficulty that we're given.
Not like the last few times have just been
Yeah, no, the
absolutely
last few have just-
stupid.
Yeah, it's been bad.
Not yet.
Come on, little boss here wouldn't go amiss.
Just keep running.
Just keep running, just keep running.
It is kind of weird to see something that isn't using Akarat's champion, though.
Right?
I feel like that's like every fucking time.
Make your peace quickly. Not ready yet.
Man. And this is, oh, Rift 41, okay.
Not yet.
Yeah, we're kind of just tearing through everything. Like, we're pretty far ahead of that,
Yeah, the time to beat was what, like 6 minutes and...
something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, how derpy was this person that they had to
I
go this
know.
slow?
I'm kind of shocked.
Yeah, when I saw the time limit, I was just like, this is gonna suck.
Patience.
Oh, good!
I require more wrath.
Huh.
Go team.
Damn!
I love that shield. Look at that.
It is a pretty nifty shield.
Okay, then.
What's the shield here? Unrelenting phalanx.
An
Phalanx.
ally has abandoned the fight, but my foes weaken.
Oh yeah, you like that picture there, She? That was that ate so good.
Oh yeah, I posted a picture of my breakfast hamburger. I hardly ever post in there, except like I was posting last week. Just like working in stage management totally counts as art, right?
Sure.
Might as well be.
Yeah.
Look at my dancers. They are living works of art. I didn't make them, but here they are.
You're managing art.
Yeah. Which is an art form unto itself, I must
Yes.
admit.
Dominions of hell grow stronger.
You're herding cats, basically.
Pretty much.
Huh. So, what were we supposed to get out of that challenge, Rift?
Mail?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
go check your mail.
There we go. You tell it's been so long since we've done
Yeah,
that.
we've actually succeeded.
I can't pick up anything else.
What do you mean I can't pick? Oh, god damn! I gotta deal with Kadala already. Ugh.
Muffin.
What the hell?
Yeah, so apparently my dinner is rockets.
No one
Because
here's
my mom
judging
came
you.
home, but David's not home. No, I already did all the things today, so I'm not cooking anything for myself. 'Cause
No,
I already
no
did
one
that.
is. No one here is judging you. I literally, there was a meal that consisted entirely of like 3 cups of coffee during tech.
Oh.
Damn.
I have a fun story for you guys.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
goody.
So today, well, okay. So, you know, tax season was upon us or whatever. I think you guys are still
It's ends
like, it's
Deadline
April
Monday.
or
on Tuesday.
something. Yeah.
Oh, is it Tuesday?
Tuesday,
Ah.
the 15th.
No, no,
Um,
it's the 17th now. Because
But
yeah, it's since the 15th falls on a Sunday, like you lose 2 days of 2 working days of getting your taxes, so they've shifted it to Tuesday.
Anyway,
Sorry.
anyway, so yeah. Oh, do we want to do bounties or something, or do we want to do rifts, or what? What do we want to do before I tell my story?
whatever works for me.
Let's see. Well, we got enough bounties from the challenge rift, so I say we should get that death counter up a little bit.
All right. I'm just doing a regular rift to start.
Okay.
So our taxes, like, our stuff comes out by the end of February. Like all the stuff from, like, you know, jobs and like all the receipts or whatever. Like if you're in school, all that stuff is supposed to be to you by the end of February.
Right.
So David had done our taxes in March, and he got his tax return, I think, a couple of weeks ago, but mine still hadn't come in. And, you know, like, he did everything all at once, like he did mine and his together. So obviously he's kind of like concerned because we had a whole issue with having to change the address, and like, so we had to do it through snail mail. Like, I had to fill out a form
Ugh.
and send it to them or whatever. So we were kind of like, okay, maybe it went to the old house. And so he went by the old place and asked whoever answered the door if they had gotten anything for me, basically. And the guy was like, no, I don't know anything that we've gotten, blah, blah, blah. So David left the phone number. But obviously now it's been a few weeks, so he asked me to call the Canadian Revenue Agency to see what the heck's going on. Like, whatever. So I call and I get, you know, put on hold for a while, whatever, as you do.
Like you do.
Government things, yep. And eventually a nice lady answers and she's like, well, it's possible that yours is still on hold because we do have, like, there's a random selection for some people to kind of audit them before they get sent out, right?
God.
Oh, Jesus.
And I'm like, all right, you know, I mean, that's fine. Like, it's not a hurry. We just want to make sure that it's, in fact, been processed and that everything's fine and that it'll be coming to me, right?
Oh, boy.
So she's like, well, let me just check. So obviously I'm on hold again for another, like, 10, 15 minutes, whatever. I'm actually not that bad about being on hold because I do other shit. Like, I just put it on speakerphone and I, like, wander, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, some people are like, but I'm just like, whatever, I wait until the lady's voice comes back. So she comes back and she's like, so it looks like it's been cashed.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Somebody cashed my check? And I'm
Damn it, I
supposed to be
died.
getting, like, that's $700. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, that's not something to sneeze at.
And not to mention that, like, I mean, what kind of idiot? Like, they're gonna find out who it is. Like, they're now doing an investigation to see who it was that cashed the check. And they're going to, like, compare, like, I have to fill out a form stating, excuse me, that I did not receive the check and that I was not able to cash it. And it has to have a witness that is not a family member sign along with me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which, I mean, again, I get it. Like, They obviously,
I need fury.
you're trying to minimize fraud and all that kind of stuff, so I have no problem with that. They're sending that out to me. So once they get my signature, they're gonna be like, you know, comparing my signature against whoever signed the other check.
Fincher88, please, thank you for that follow there.
Oh, Amy, hi.
Hi!
That's our Amy.
That's
Piano
awesome!
Amy.
And yeah, so I'm just kind of like, I mean, they've now reissued the check, so I should get it in the next couple of weeks. And they're gonna be like investigating the other one or whatever, but I'm just kind of like floored that that actually happened, because I mean, like, the only thing I can think of is that somebody at that old house decided it was a good idea,
Right.
which
right.
I'm like, do you have some fucking secret Swedish account or something? Like, I don't even know how it works anymore these days.
God knows. That or they cashed you in
Because, like,
or something.
yeah, because... And apparently, like, Hush told me that I guess you guys have to show ID to cash checks,
Yes.
Yeah.
and you can't do it through ATMs. But in Canada,
Well, let me
still-
rephrase. You can't cash a check without a signature or without a ID, but you can like deposit one in a bank account that matches it.
yeah, and I think that what happened is that this was deposited somewhere. I'm not sure about like cash being taken out or whatever,
Right.
but so you know, whatever it was, they were able to just, you know, like, they might have done it through an ATM, because I mean the ATM
Right.
isn't gonna, you know, scan it or anything. Like, it's not gonna say, hey, what's your name, what's the name on the check. Like, I don't know, maybe there are some ATMs that do that now, but I don't think that's the case for most of them. So, you know, either way, they somehow thought this was a good idea, and I'm just kind of like, I mean, they're gonna find out. Like, the check has a number on it, on top of the fact that it has my name on it. Like, they know which check they're looking for.
Right.
They are gonna see
sealed.
on their end which bank it was checked in, and like, yeah, I don't know, but I'm just kind of like, that's never happened to me before, so that's interesting. And that took me about an hour and a half of being on hold and talking to the nice lady to figure out.
An hour and a half of adulting.
Yeah,
I need
Ugh,
fury.
that was the
Adventures
only
in
adulting I
adulting.
did today. I actually
Not
like
ready yet.
vacuumed most of the upstairs. I didn't get to back to the bedrooms, but I did like the kitchen, the dining room, the foyer, all the stairs, and the hallway between like all the rooms or whatever, but I just didn't go into the rooms. But and I cooked myself lunch,
Still recharging.
and
I'm so proud of you.
I got
Man,
dressed. I'm wearing pants right now.
You're actually wearing pants. You're playing
Yeah.
games in pants right now.
Yeah.
wow.
Need more
'Cause
Man,
I had to
you
let the dog out too, so
you're like so adulting right now.
yeah. And oh, there was something else I did. What else did I do? Oh, I took out the garbage. That's what I did. So yeah, I mean, considering that I normally do none of those things,
Yeah,
it
that
took me
sounds
6
No, I feel
days
that.
of being off of work to get the energy to do that. That's like,
it
Yes, I'm
sounds
glad I heard you were plagued.
fury.
no, it's mostly
Oh.
a stress leave.
Need more time.
Gotcha.
I mean, I've been like dizzy and nauseous and stuff, but that was probably a medication related thing. Like, I'm not really sure.
Still recharging.
It's kind of gone away because I stopped taking the one medication that I thought maybe was causing it.
Need more
But yeah, no, it's mostly just being overwhelmed with the whole constant like 8:30 to 5, Monday to Friday, every week, which obviously it's good to have steady work, but I have no breaks, no vacation time until June, and like, just it's been getting to be a lot, and I was getting burned out and losing focus. Like, it's been kind of for a few months now that it's been very obvious that my work has suffered. So my doctor actually is the one that recommended to me that I try a 2-week sick leave. So he wrote me up a little note and everything, and then I'm gonna see him on Friday to follow up. Like, not tomorrow Friday, but next week Friday, because this is the first week of my leave. And I'm gonna ask him to write a recommendation, probably to have a 4-day week instead of a 5-day week.
Need more time.
That
because I think that
seems-
would help me a lot.
That seems to help out a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like everyone that I talk to out in the location where I work, the ones that get to, I mean, it's called a 980, which in 9 days you have to work 80 hours. Oh, there's the actual first death of the game. Wow.
Yeah, this is the low end for us right now.
Yeah.
So.
Like having that 3-day weekend every other week is like just loads of stress off of them. So.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah, this would be every week though. Like, that I would just have 4 days a week.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
My
Because.
my program manager is actually going through something very similar. It's not medication based, but like he was telling me
No, but
yesterday.
burnout is still a thing for a lot of people.
Oh,
so.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, he actually said he talked to his wife and was like, yeah, I'm gonna take a half day today. I'm gonna get the honey-do list done because that's what he says. And Thursday and Friday, I'm gonna get on the boat and I'm gonna come home when I can't hold my arms anymore. I'm like, you do your thing, and I'm gonna do my thing, and
Whatever works for you.
yeah.
I need to go back.
I got lots of fancy
Yeah,
stuff.
my thing is, like, I think that it will help to be less stressed about having Fridays, because then, like, for example, this sick leave has taken all the rest of my sick days and personal emergency leave days up. So when I come back, I don't have any more left. Which, obviously, if I'm actually sick, I can still take time off. I just won't get paid for it at this point.
Right.
But if I have the Fridays off, then I'm not worried about asking for more time off for appointments. Like my psychiatrist appointments are appointments that I can't mess around with. I can't say, like, oh, well, I need it on this day or that day or whatever. Like, I have a strict schedule for it because my medication is strictly controlled. So they only give me so much of the medication at a time, and then they follow up on how the medication's doing. And recently I had a change in dosage, so they need to follow up with me in 2 months instead of 6. And then it's going to be 4 months, and then it's going to go back to the 6-month schedule, assuming that there's no other changes to my medication. And because he doesn't do after hours or weekends, I have no other choices, right? But if I have Fridays off, then I can just always schedule it on Fridays, and I'm not worrying and stressing about having to ask them and get approval for this fucking day every time. Because I always get the whole, like, kind of humming and hawing, and they kind of look at me like, well, you know that we can't guarantee and blah, blah, blah. And it was like, when I tried to stress to them that it's important that I get this specific appointment, I got the whole spiel about their procedure and their policy and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, I know what your policies are, but this is an accommodation because, like, it falls under the health and safety stuff. That because it's an actual employee accommodation, regardless of what your health and safety or what your policies are as a business, you actually do have to accommodate this. Because
Right, I have the override.
yeah, like, whether you like it or not that I have to take this sick day or whatever, like, I need those appointments. But if I have the Friday off, then I don't even have to fucking deal with that. And I don't think that losing the 1 day is actually going to affect my like, workload all that much. So I don't foresee there being an issue with that.
Well, especially, like, you know, when you can plan for that sort of thing. Like, I
Right.
think that's what really helps with the, what is it, 80, the 980.
The 980, yeah, because
You
you
know,
end
you
up.
plan for it.
Yeah, because you already know that, like, okay, this week I'm working 8 hours for 5 days, and the next week I'm working, like, 9 hours. No, I work 9 hours every day, which means, hey, I got that extra hour where most people are going home, which means I can get shit done and
Yeah.
just not have to worry.
Yeah, so I'm still kind of, you know, dealing with it, seeing how it goes with having the second week off, because so far I'm only beginning to decompress. So, you know, we'll see.
Well, hopefully it'll work out for you.
but I found out that like we were looking for a new executive director, and I think I told you guys that like the one lasted like 2 weeks and then left, not even
Damn.
2 weeks or whatever. And so
Wow.
when I talked to my one coworker this past week, because we still have the class together on Mondays, she mentioned that our program coordinator has decided to move up to executive director. So now instead they're looking for somebody to fill the position of program coordinator, which A is kind of funny because the program coordinator has only been in her position for like 6, maybe 8 months. Like she just got all the training for that and has been like stressing about figuring all that out. And now she's just, I mean, she's a freaking, like, she's one of those people that she's a workhorse. Like, I mean, she's doing a job, or when she was doing the job that I'm doing right now, technically, like, there's 3 of us right now filling the position that she was doing by herself
Good God.
because
That
she's
sounds like
nuts.
that sounds like the old administrative director at my college for the music department. Like that woman, I don't know how they replaced her with 3 people. It was
Yeah.
the same thing when she finally retired. They replaced her with 3 different people.
And it's just like, I mean, it makes you wonder why, well, not why, but like, I mean, obviously it can't be healthy for her to be working like that, because I know she gets stressed and I know that she's always kind of like turned to 11, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, what is your blood pressure like?
God, that sounds like how it
Yeah,
was
but-
with me at my last job, where like, oh yeah, you have a team of IT people, and well, money's tight, so we're just going to eliminate 6 positions and have you do all of them.
Yeah, no, thanks. So yeah,
Yep, that's
it's
when he started shopping.
Yeah.
with her moving into the ED position, though, it's actually going to be easier, I think, because the ED position is a big job, and at least because she's already
Son
been in
of
the
a
company
bitch!
for so long. You went on your own. Do you see that it's Rift 63? Like, I may die a lot in here.
Well, I thought I was going to have a little bit more. God. Oh.
You were basically complaining about not dying very much, so...
Yeah, well, that number's gonna get high pretty quick.
Well, I mean, there's that 30-second buffer you're gonna get to, but yeah.
Oh yeah. I anticipate that's gonna happen here in just a few seconds.
I need your flesh is weak.
But yeah, so anyway, it's an easier position to fill. So hopefully they'll find someone.
Time.
I'm gonna stay back here and eat taffy.
I have a mandate. I have to get that number higher, so...
Not ready yet.
Are
the
you
numbers
not
go up.
entertained?
Green apple.
Oh, boy.
You
Oh!
have like no elites though, what the fuck?
Maybe I should run out ahead and find them.
They'll find you.
The details. Who needs them?
That's when your corpse becomes a map marker.
Need more time.
I'm useful.
Of course you are.
Well, apparently you did find one.
Still recharging.
Or one did find you, whatever.
I grow weak.
Ow.
Not ready yet.
David, did you not get my message?
Need more time.
Like, you come in here, you don't say anything, you just sit down?
Oi, wine slave.
Grow stronger.
What's the fact that I'm hungry? And I sent him a message earlier that I was hungry. And he just came in here and just like sat down on his computer. He's got his headphones on.
You should just start throwing things at him.
And I accomplished shit today, damn it! So I deserve a snack!
She adulted. You should feed her snack to her.
Seriously.
I can't. What do you mean,
Ow.
what do I want? What the fuck do we have? You can't just say, what do I want?
Notes against my
That's a very
blow.
general question. I
Still
mean,
recharging.
I want a lot of things.
yeah.
More fuel.
I want pizza. I want fucking fries. I will have miseria.
Need more time.
What else do we have?
We've already got that. What else do you have?
Notes against my blow. Still recharging.
Well, I'll have Mielona and Miseria for sure, but what? Yeah, like what else is there?
Grow
Could you
stronger.
seriously say that like 47 times, please?
Not ready yet.
Say what now?
I'm sorry, I was being awful.
You wilt against my
Like,
blows.
Sorry, David, I wasn't talking to you. Sorry, Duck, I didn't hear you because David ended up repeating himself at the same time as you were repeating himself yourself.
Oh, sorry.
So
Sorry.
what did you say to me?
Could you explain to us in great detail what it was that you just said to him? Like, what were you having?
Oh, miseria is cucumber salad, basically. It's Polish cucumber salad. It's basically just salted cucumbers in sour cream that's like
I love
thinned out with
that.
milk a little bit.
I know what that is. Yes, it's
Yeah.
so good.
And then mielone is ground beef and pork put into like ball. They're not meatballs, like they're bigger than meatballs, but it's basically ground beef and pork in larger form. Like they're not burger patties either because they're rounded oval type thing. It's basically like well, because my aunt doesn't like rice, so she doesn't make them with rice. But it's basically like cabbage rolls without the cabbage around it.
Gotcha.
Need more time.
I need to make cabbage rolls again.
Oh god, those were good.
I don't even like cabbage.
And they were
and
so
they were
good.
amazing. It's Janice Poon's
Still recharging.
recipe for Russian cabbage rolls from
Oh,
American
I'll just have
Gods.
mielone and miseria. Why are we over here?
Not ready.
Oh, shit, found it!
As if on cue.
Aw, I thought I ran away from that.
Nope.
Oh well.
Sucks,
Like,
doesn't
I saw
it?
it coming. I saw it coming and I ran and I got sort of away from it, but not quite.
There we go.
Oh, so apparently I was talking about some Polish food. I don't know.
Yes. Yes. We've switched from snacks to actual meals.
And she one day there will be spaghetti that just fucking cooks itself.
Oh god, the world would be a better place.
Yes. If we didn't have to waste our time and energy on spaghetti and just fucking eat it.
I mean we've already started. We have Stouffer's lasagnas. So
Lasagna.
More time.
so I mean meal plurals. I don't. I got distracted by Italian food.
Not ready yet.
It's not difficult.
I'll taste your fear.
Oh, and in other news, I've been reading actual books lately.
Still recharging.
Gasp.
I'm like 2 books behind on my 2018 challenge. Because last year I was able to read the 10 books in just a few months because I kind of joined the challenge like late in the year. So I was like, well, if I'm joining in January, I should be able to do 20 books, right?
Right.
And it's just like because of the lack of energy I've had about everything ever, I'm 2 books behind on my timeline there.
Strength.
So I'm like, well, I have 2 weeks off, maybe I can get around to some of the books on my list. And one of the ones that was on my list was the Six of Crows series, like the first book at any rate, to see if I even liked it. And the thing is that it expired on my e-reader, so because I borrowed it from the library, and somebody already had it out, so I put myself on the waiting list, and I was like, okay, what else do I have on my Goodreads list here that I've been wanting to read? And I decided to read Oryx and Crake from Margaret Atwood,
Ooh.
which I didn't know anything about it. I just knew it was on my list because I heard it was good, and I like Margaret Atwood, and she's a Canadian author, so I was like, hey, you know, why not? I'll be cool and read a Canadian author. And, you know,
Need more time.
so,
Yay, representation.
yes. Which, I don't know if you know anything about Oryx and Crake.
No, I
No.
don't.
That's
It is basically a dystopian future / post-apocalyptic
Oh, good.
sci-fi adventure type thing.
can you put that in the chat? I need this.
I highly recommend reading this. It's actually a trilogy, which I didn't know. I just thought it was Oryx and Crake, and apparently that was published in 2002. The last one, the third one, was published in 2013. I didn't find it tedious, actually. I don't know. I like, but I mean, it depends on what writing styles tend to speak to you, right? Like, I find Lord of the Rings tedious, but I know that Birdie loves the books. I think, right? Is it you that really love them?
Yes, and,
Yeah.
and I do agree with you that even though I love them, they can be tedious at
Yeah.
times.
But I mean, like, the thing is that, you know, if it's a writing style that you are able to get through, then even if it's a little tedious for you or whatever, then obviously fine. But for me, I just couldn't.
That's fair. I 100% understand.
But yeah,
It was
so
very
anyway,
difficult for me to get through the first time. Now I like am used to that writing style, but I sort of, you know, got used to it by Stockholm syndrome.
yeah. Well, I mean, there's something to be said for nostalgia as well. Like when you kind of have a thing that you've loved for a
Yeah.
long time, even if the writing style isn't necessarily your jam anymore, but it's like it's that particular author or that particular series or whatever that you're still like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
still love it.
Oh yeah.
Still recharging.
But yeah, so the first book, Oryx and Crake, is about a guy who calls himself Snowman,
Oh, shit.
and he's technically like as far as you're aware, like he's the last man on Earth, except for these genetically
More time.
created human 2.0 people that he calls the Crakers.
Not ready yet.
And as the book goes on, you find out more about who he was and like who the Crakers are, like where they came from and what's it's Snowman is a sort of code name which you
Oh.
understand by the end of the book why
Ready yet.
it's like he means abominable snowman, but snowman is easier obviously to say, right?
that is also a Homestuck reference. There,
Of course.
there is a character named Snowman, and
Still recharging.
you don't want me to go down that road, so
Nope.
yeah.
Oh, I'm talking about the book right now. so- Ooh.
It's all good, Malefa. Well, it's fine.
I need to go back.
Oh shit.
Don't close
Yeah,
yet because I have a bunch of fucking shards.
Yeah, we have
get.
to talk to this person.
Anyway, so the reason, like, he calls himself Abominable Snowman, but the Crakers just call him Snowman because it's easier. That wasn't his original nickname in the context of why he has a nickname, but he uses it on purpose because it's a mythical or legendary creature that doesn't actually exist, and the person who he had nicknames with specifically was very much firmly rooted in reality and the possible and science
I am
and all that
returning
kind of
to
stuff, so it's kind of like a jab at him, even though he's not around to be annoyed by it. It's like in his own mind he's like, yeah, he would hate it if he knew that I was calling myself Snowman, kind of thing. Because obviously, I mean, this is now post-apocalyptic, so when there's no one else around to really appreciate the joke.
God, I feel that.
But I have my miseria and my milone.
Nom nom.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god.
Oh, wait,
But
don't need that.
it's really interesting to. Oh my god! One sec. Sorry, everybody's talking in here. They're leaving because I said that.
Aww.
Oh.
Anyway, so it's kind of like you start out just in the post-apocalyptic timeline, like, you know, you're just following Snowman and what's going on with him and his view of the Crakers, and you only get like tidbits, and then he starts kind of remembering his childhood, so then you're like thrust back into the dystopian time. And he like lived on this compound, and like, you know, genetic modification and stuff is like pretty commonplace, and like his dad is working on these creatures called pigoons, which are being grown to match certain, like, you know, people can basically purchase a pigoon that will be grown to match
That is
their
too
own
expensive.
DNA so that it can grow extra organs and stuff for them. So that they won't get
Yeah, I've
enough
seen that
rejected.
in someplace else too.
Yeah, I
can't
mean,
remember.
it's a common theme in some dystopian and just other science fiction kind of stuff, right? And it's something that's not necessarily that far off from reality these days either, when it is something that is actually being looked at.
Right.
And so obviously, you know, I mean, Margaret Atwood tends to enjoy her dystopian cautionary tales, as with A Handmaid's Tale.
Yep.
So this is one of those things where, you know, you're seeing like there's like this whole gated community with the compounds, because there's the plebe lands, which is like kind of regular people that don't have, like, they have access to all those genetically modified things or whatever, like, you know, the special medications and the special, you know, hair grafts and skin grafts and eye replacements, and you can get your skin lightened or darkened, and you can get your eyes changed. Like, you can literally change your gender, your race, like none of it matters anymore, kind of thing, right?
Huh.
So people in the plebe lands do have access to all that stuff, but they also are in a place where it's not clean. You know, that's where like crime and like, you know, germs and everything, it all runs rampant. And in the compounds, it very much reminded me of Fallout 4, actually. Like, when I was here, like, reading about the compounds, I was picturing the Institute. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Fallout 4, but like the Institute, and like
Somewhat,
even
yeah, I
kind
know
of,
what you're talking about.
well, the Institute is like, you know, this whole idealistic organization that's trying to do what's best for humanity. And you know, everything's very squeaky clean, and everything's white and silver, and, you know, like these rounded domes, and they're underground actually, but the compounds are just like walled off areas that are like, they have like tunnels and stuff, and like, so the buildings and all that, everybody's like protected from like outside contaminants and all that kind of stuff. And you know, like, because the plebe lands were kind of portrayed as this just dirty place where anything goes, and that's where people went to go have fun and, like, you know, get prostitutes and stuff, which everything has like a new shiny name. Like the big corporation that basically like runs the world is called Corpse Corps, and it's written capital CORP, and then capital SE, and then capital CORPS.
Ms. Atwood is many things. She is not subtle.
No. But I mean, that's kind of like, it's not supposed to be necessarily a super serious book or anything. It's like, you know, there are serious things in it, but it's very tongue-in-cheek a lot of the time. And I mean, like, there's the God's Gardeners that are like these naturalists, and reading, like, the second book is very much focused on God's Gardeners, and it's a plebe group of people that believe that, you know, like, they're all vegetarians, we're not supposed to eat meat. And, you know, basically they're talking about the waterless flood that's coming, which is supposed to be this apocalypse, basically. And its meaning of waterless flood as in it's like a man-made disaster that's just going to wipe people out. And
Like
that
you
does
do.
actually happen, obviously, because, you know, now we're post-apocalyptic. And the second book gives you like excerpts from Adam 1's sermons, and like little poem song type, like, or hymns or whatever from there, and they're like all very, they're silly kind of like, but it's just, it's a good read. Like, I mean, I'm most of the way through the second one right now, and I have the third one on hold, so
It sounds like the songs and the sermons from The Path, honestly, because they're cringeworthy, and you can tell that they're written in order to be cringeworthy.
Oh, well, they're
that's
not-
purposeful.
no, these ones aren't necessarily cringeworthy, they're just kind of absurd. Like,
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
it's because I think that the whole point, at least the point that I'm getting from it, is that neither the compound people nor the God's Gardeners are really getting the right idea. Like both of them are out of balance in a way.
Ah, my favorite trope.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
So the idea is that, you know, like when you're going from one extreme to another, you're still not really doing right, kind of thing.
Right. BRB.
Yeah, with me, I'm liking both of them for different reasons because I mean they definitely the two books so far have changed tonally. I mean, um the first one is focused on Snowman and his life and like, you know, in the past and in the present. And then it kind of ends on a note that you know, obviously gives you an idea that there's more going on than what he even is aware of, and um like that he even uh is able to experience, I guess, or whatever. And so the second book is like filling in some of the gaps with other people because like there are some people that parallel with him.
Uh-huh.
A couple of people that he had gone to school with, like in certain points, or that he had actually dated or whatever. Like there's a couple of characters. Yes, yeah, the second one is the one girl, Brenda Wren. She's got her scaly costume on. And she's like, God damn it, I wish I could have some new clothes. That's actually where I left off right there. Like that's where I'm at in the book right now, is they just had to get out of the strip club there, and she's still wearing the costume, and she was lamenting that she wasn't able to go back and find something more suitable because they kind of had to leave in a hurry. So
I'm back.
but I find a lot of the stuff about it just really interesting. And of course the Pagoons are now, like in the post-apocalyptic setting, they've all gotten out of their pens, and because that their brains have some human brain tissue and stuff, the idea is that they're more intelligent than the average pig. So they're actually like, one of them starts going after Snowman, and Snowman manages to kind of like outmaneuver it, but then it leaves and then comes back with like 8 more of them, and they stalk him, and they're waiting him out, like waiting for him to get out of wherever he's hiding so that they can get him and eat him.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
Jesus.
it's a very, very fun and interesting read, and I do recommend them so far. So
BRB, I need to take care of the kitties.
This stream is now brought to you by Cadbury Cream Eggs.
and for me it's Polish food.
Yay!
We spend a lot of time in the stream eating.
Well, it
It's
is
fine, though.
called Eat the Pixels.
And I have meat. Along
I'm
with
so
my cucumber
pleased
salad.
Amy decided to join us. It makes me so happy. She's the accompanist for the ballet studio I work at, and she's a generally very awesome person.
Hello. Sorry, my cucumbers are probably crunching in the mic. But they're very tasty.
Do you put like dill or lemon or anything in that?
My aunt doesn't usually put dill on it. I have had it with dill, like when I was going to restaurants in Poland, or if I go to a Polish restaurant here, I generally get dill on it. I think that my aunt might not like dill, which is probably why she doesn't do it. But usually it's just salt and pepper. You let it sit for a while. Like you just salt and pepper the cucumbers. They specifically have to be a certain kind of cucumber, like not the big, huge ones that are like usually wrapped in plastic, but like the shorter ones that you usually use for pickles, I think.
Yes.
And you have to peel them.
Yep.
And then, yeah, you slice them up, you put them in a bowl, you salt and pepper them, let them sit in the fridge for a while. Like, I think usually like a few hours, just to kind of soak up the salt, I guess.
I'm back.
And then right before you're, like, ready to serve them, you put, like, I think it's half... We did, like, my mom didn't use formal measuring things, so the way I've always done it is we filled up half of a beer pint with sour cream and then added like maybe a tablespoon or maybe a little bit, maybe 2 tablespoons I would say of worth of milk to kind of just make it a little bit watery, like not too watery, but just a little bit less than what sour cream is on its own, to
Right.
kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Thin it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then like so it's right before you're ready to serve it. So you take it out of the fridge, then you put that stuff on, mix it up, and then it's good to go.
Can you put a link to that in chat there?
Because I've had a similar dish, and I've actually made it at home. There's a German restaurant in town that serves this cucumber salad with dill, and
Mhm.
it sounded very similar because I made it at home, and yeah, you thin out the sour cream and the
It's
recipe I
probably
had-
pretty much the same thing.
the recipe I had didn't call for you to like let them sit salted. You assembled the whole salad and then let it sit for about an hour before you serve it.
The way my mom and my aunt have always done it is that way. Like, I'm not sure if they're doing it wrong or differently or whatever. That's just the way I was always used to it.
It might have something to do with the cucumbers, the type of cucumbers they grew up with. You know what I
Maybe.
mean? Like,
Yeah, no,
it
it's
makes me
entirely
wonder if
possible.
that's a.
Malefa, I've heard of this book.
We have it.
We do have it. Okay. Okay, good.
Hold on one second.
I think it's on
I tried to start it and found it very, very strange.
I think it was on Bert's night table, or unless it's behind me that I couldn't really quite see.
Oh, it's up here somewhere.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, yeah, here it is. I got it ages ago because I thought it sounded interesting, and I started it, and there was something about it that I don't know. Something about it rubbed me the wrong way.
Huh.
Like in terms of, I don't remember what it was. There was something weird about it.
Oh my. Oh, LSD Trip the book. Oh, great. Oh boy.
Also,
Well, good. We actually have that
the
one.
novelty of being able to borrow books on my e-reader from the library is awesome, and it has not worn off.
Oh my god, I need to get that set up now that I have a Fire, because oh my god, I love that thing.
Because, yeah, I like not having to leave the house, but still being able to borrow books from the library.
Let's
It
I'm
just
good-
depends on
I'm
whether or
good
not
to
they
go.
actually have the book.
I'm good to go do whatever, by the way.
Yeah, sorry, I just want to finish my salad here.
No.
I do what I want.
Yeah, you really kind of do.
Yeah.
I can't believe I didn't realize Orcs and Crake was a trilogy, though. I'm like reading the first one and then it ends, and I'm kind of like, well, that was a bit like super cliffhangery, but like I mean, I was kind of like okay with it being that way, and then I like was looking up, I went to like my Goodreads to like update my progress or whatever, and then it like shows Mad Adam trilogy #1, and I was like, wait, what? Shows you how good I am at paying attention.
Oh Jesus, that's a book series, The Vor. Oh boy.
Oh wow. We got the first one. Like when it first came out, I saw it on the shelf at Barnes and Noble, and was just like, I read the blurb on the back and went, okay, that's a new one. I mean, that was literally my reaction. Okay, that's a new one.
Sorry.
Yeah, if anyone has any other kind of book recommendations, throw them in chat, because it's
Yay, book recommendations.
because no library is ever fully stocked.
That's
Nope.
the truth.
So what else has been happening in your life, the bird? Other than
Me?
taking care of your wonderful dancers.
My useless cat people. I mean, they really are. I mean, that's pretty much was it for the last 2 weeks. Was pretty much chasing stuff for them. The show went fabulously. We had record-breaking audiences because, you know, anything with Cinderella on the title is going to get 4-year-olds and their moms out in droves. Which, you know, butts and seats, we don't really care. But it was a really good show too. Like it was. I enjoyed watching it, even though I've seen it a million times. Like, it was still really enjoyable.
I laughed my ass off.
Yeah, comedic ballets are great because they're so over the top. It's like clown mime without the clowns. But I mean, nothing much really other than just kind of trying to get back into writing saddle. And I mean, I'm on. As always, you know, people are like, "Oh, do you still get show drop?" And I'm like, "No, not really, because I already have 3 more projects coming screaming down the pipeline in the next month and a half."
So you just don't have time for show drop yet.
Yeah, no, there's no show drop because I'm still doing a show. I mean, I miss Cinderella, but I've got Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory coming up at Fantasy Playhouse. Namarie's concert is coming up middle of May, and then end of May is School Sketches.
And then we go on vacay.
And then we go on vacation. We're going to New York.
Yay! New York is a good choice.
Duck's never been.
Ever.
You're gonna have a good time. Are you guys going to the Museum of Sex?
Oh yes, it's on the list.
Good. It's a good place.
It's on the list.
Wait, which
we're
which
gonna
Rule
go.
34 machine is a lot of fun.
Oh sweet, the Museum of Sex. It is literally what it says on the tin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you
Real
get
quick,
to touch some real doll skin.
real quick, Mulefa, I sent a sample of that one to my Kindle as well. Sea of Rust. That should be interesting.
Smells like steampunk.
Yeah. So yeah, Museum of Sex. I think we're going to the Strand. Let's see.
We'll hit the Museum of the Metropolitan Museum of Art and the Museum of Natural History.
The Metropolitan Museum, I would recommend having an entire day.
Yes, we will.
It is fucking huge, and you won't see it in one day.
Yeah.
You won't see it all in one day. That's one that you just have to give up on.
Yeah. You pick the places parts of it that you want to see. I mean, I'm assuming because you guys are probably nerds about history and shit like we are. Because David and I basically got caught up in certain rooms, and we were really fascinated by, you know, like all the stuff in like the Roman and Greek and I got really like, oh my god, they have these fucking old books like that monks had written and stuff.
Yes, the illuminated texts.
Yes. Oh my god, I spent so many hours of my life in that fucking place, and it just, you know, their Egyptian exhibit and the African exhibit is phenomenal. Like they have all the different tribes and everything, like all sorts of different like the clothing and the jewelry and like the Aztec and Mayan shit. Oh my god! Like,
Oh
it's
hell
just,
yeah!
So much.
There's so much stuff, and
like you want to sit in every room and just read every little thing, and like, you know, you want to look at every object and see all the cracks and the fingerprints and all that kind of stuff. So it's just, there's way too much to see for it to be one day. But the cafeteria is decent, so I would also, like, if you guys are going to end up being there for actually, like, you know, several hours, then I would say eat in the cafeteria, because the restaurant is overpriced and you don't get that much food. So
I remember the first time we ever went to, I've been like 2 or 3 times to the museum or to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. And I remember the first time we went, we got, I call it the Catholic exhibit, but it's basically, I mean, that is basically what it is it was like proto-Catholicism, like all this ancient, like medieval, you know, reliquaries and all this stuff. I mean,
yeah, no, I love that shit.
You know where I'm talking about. It
Yeah.
goes on forever. And finally,
Yeah.
I just started walking. I was like, I'm going to find the end of this exhibit so I can tell my parents how far we'd gone. And my dad had gone on ahead of me, too.
It's like a maze, isn't it? Like I remember that being like a series of
Well, I
like-
know. We just went, I just started walking, and then I meet my dad, you know, after a certain number of rooms, and he just says, "Go back. We're not getting out of here going this way. Just go back the other way."
It's actually one giant IKEA store. Really.
yeah, pretty much, honestly. And
IKEA store of art exhibits.
yeah, the MoMA I found is easier to get through depending on but it mainly depends on what you're there for, right? Like, I mean, modern art I find tends to be a little different in how it's consumed, if that makes sense.
Right, you're less reading the little fine print text.
Yes.
and,
Yeah,
you know, just
like,
kind of
there is
getting
the odd
impression.
thing that will make you kind of pause and want to take a closer look, but for the most part, you're sort of taking in the whole of it. Like, you'll go into a room and you're like, oh, well, this is the Dada room, and there's Dada everywhere, and, you know, you're just kind of like... It's not something you really need to spend a lot of time staring at. But, like, some of the earlier, like, they have, you know, Impressionist and Post-Impressionist stuff
For
as
sure.
well, which those were the areas that I kind of hung around in a little bit longer, because I
Oh,
do have a
damn
sort
it.
of a personal thing about Impressionism and Post-Impressionism. So,
No, I feel that. I did.
Yeah.
We went to the Monet Museum in Paris, and oh my
Yeah.
god,
Just be here for a moment.
I just like sat in the basement of that building where all of his really famous paintings are, and just soaked.
yeah,
Not ready yet.
yeah. That's how I
Ow.
was when they had the Van Gogh exhibit came
Ah.
to Detroit at one point. This was years and years ago now. I think I was in high school. And we went as a class, and I was just like, I fangirled all the fuck over that shit, because, like, you know, his charcoal drawings and stuff were there, so you could see his fingerprints on it.
Oh
And
my
I was
God.
like, I actually almost, I think I got tears in my eyes because I'm a giant dork. So I'm
That's
sitting
fair.
here, like, in front of his fucking old sketches and just going, oh my god, I can see his fingerprints. Like,
No, no, no. I am so with you. I went through the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam, and when I got to the part where it was they had it divided up like by his life, like just in
Yes.
chronological order,
yeah,
everything, and they had all of his paintings from when he was in the asylum.
yeah,
I would-
that's how they
along
did
with
it in the exhibit I
letters.
had seen, yeah.
I was just sobbing. So no,
Yeah.
you're not weird. I
Yeah,
feel you.
when we were in Italy, and like, okay, we're actually going to take a moment. We're going to go to like, it was the whole thing with the David, and I'm like, why am I? Oh my god, I'm actually crying now. What the hell? I was
There's
not
something
expecting
about it, right?
this.
Like, about actually, like, seeing it. I mean, maybe part of it is that, you know, like, because of how we're raised to believe about certain kinds of art or whatever, it's like it gets built up in our heads.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's one of those things that it gets built up, but it's not to me, it's not a disappointment to see it in real life.
Oh yeah, it
it-
was
it-
totally.
you know,
Builds up to
like-
the hype.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's sort of a
like,
connection that you feel to it or something. I don't know. It's just...
yeah, maybe
Yeah,
it was
you're
just
real.
maybe it's just the, like, okay, how many times have you seen this in like a textbook or something? And
Yeah,
there it is.
yeah.
And like, I remember the first thing that I thought was, I
way.
didn't realize it was that fucking huge.
Yeah, yeah. It
It
does
is
not
kinda
look that
giant.
big in a textbook, or like on a... Like, if you're searching for it online and in your Google searches or whatever, you usually don't get a lot of context for size for a lot of those things. Like, that was another thing that I was like, oh my god. I went to the Salvador Dali Museum in Florida somewhere, and first of all, I recall that, of course, I was being rushed along, because I'm sitting here being all like, ooh and ah about all his sketches and everything, and I was younger, like, I was with my family. I think I must have been, like, also maybe 13 years old or something. I couldn't have been that old. And I was just, like, sitting here in awe, and some of his paintings are fucking floor-to-ceiling huge. And I don't mean, like, a normal house floor-to-ceiling. I mean, like, warehouse/art gallery ceiling. Like, these
No, I'm
fucking
with you.
things are huge.
Still recharging.
and I was just like, he actually like stood there and painted this whole fucking thing, like this big giant canvas. Like, how? What? I couldn't wrap my head around it.
Roller.
Like, obviously, at this point, I can wrap my head around it a little better. It's not something that I would want to do, but I get it. It's like, you know, mural or whatever.
Yeah, I
But
wouldn't want to paint it with a paint roller, much less
But
with
at
a
that
teeny
age-
tiny paintbrush.
yeah, at that age, I was just like, holy shit.
Not ready yet.
And I had, you know, very specific ones that I was very fixated on. And,
Another one that's massive that I did not realize, that's like floor to ceiling monster wall, like an entire wall, is the Rembrandt the Night Watch.
yes, yeah, Rembrandt has a few of them that are, like, much larger than you would expect.
Holy balls, that thing was huge. I mean,
Yeah.
and the way that they did it kind of, if you've been to see the David, you know, you like turn a corner and then it's at the end of a gallery and you have to walk to it. They have it set up like that, where you have to walk all the way down this hallway, and it's funny because, you know, you're standing probably 50 yards away from it, and you still can see like all the figures in the painting. Like it's big, and that's how big it is.
Yeah. If any, like, well, I mean, obviously, I would assume that part of it is that it's meant to be viewed from a distance, like, as well as from up close, right? Like,
Right.
there's supposed to be a sort of presentation to it.
Recharging.
Yeah, and they pull it off in the way that they have it displayed. It was
Yeah.
really awesome. I still want to go to Chicago and see the Island of Le Grand Chat.
I was so waiting for you to bring that up, because I'm like, you know, for more than just the art itself, I see that thing and it's gonna be Niagara Falls all over there.
Still recharging.
Yep. And yeah, I totally get you on that too, She, with like the finger lines in the slip and everything. Like, it just seeing the human touch to it when it's, especially when it's something like ancient or old, it's just, it makes you feel that connection to the past in a way that I know that not everybody values, but to me it's a very
Not ready yet.
emotional experience, I guess. You know, like when you have like the human experience is something that is connected, blah blah blah, deep
Need more time.
bullshit. Like,
No, I'm with you. In the the David, they had a set of incomplete sculptures, and you
Oh
could
my God,
see
yeah.
like the chisel marks. So it's just like,
Yeah.
you know, here is where he stopped.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. No, I definitely felt that when I saw there were a few of them, I think at the Met, that were like that, as well as like when I was, one of the reasons I was so distracted by the Roman and Greek areas was seeing a lot of the more like mundane items, like, you know, jewelry and like kitchenware and things that people use in their day-to-day lives. Like, it wasn't, you know, big fancy like tablets or
The ancients have blessed
like,
me.
you know, obviously they do have like the big urns and all that kind of thing, and the sculptures that I would assume that it's rich people would commission those things. But, you know, just seeing like, you know, bits of fabric and bits of
Not ready
like, oh well, this was part of a tunic, or this was like, you know, it wasn't like noble jewelry. It's like the kind of adornment that like a commoner would have worn or something. And I was just kind of like, you know, seeing the little hammer marks in like some of the hammered metals and stuff like that. It's just, I really enjoy all those little things, and that's definitely a big part of the experience for myself, at least, with going into a museum like that. And then of course there's the Natural History Museum, which I also really enjoyed.
I love their little dioramas that they have.
Yes, yeah, the dioramas are obviously like the big
Not ready.
thing. Like,
Yeah.
they have
Oh,
some
yeah.
really neat stuff in there.
The one that gets to me, and I can't wait for Charlie to see it, is the one. Do you remember the one for the Timberwolf?
Still
I don't
recharging.
remember. Like, I'm bad at remembering specifics when it comes to stuff like that, but I'm sure
Honestly,
I saw it.
Honestly, the only reason that I remember it is because it made such a strong impression on me. So it's narrow, like it's probably only about as wide as like a set of double doors.
Hmm.
Whereas the other ones are these big windows.
Yeah, they do have a few of the smaller ones.
It's one of the smaller ones, and it's very
Yeah.
deep, and so but it's dimly lit, and the scene is like snow, and it's these two timber wolves like running full pelt over the snow with their teeth bared, and they're running. They look like they're gonna run out of the diorama into the room with you.
Oh, I love that.
And
That
it's
is
very dim, and those things are fucking massive. I had no
Yeah,
idea
yeah.
wolves were that big.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. It's like that was definitely one of the things that got me with just, oh my god, like, I mean, obviously the big one there, both literally and figuratively, is their blue whale.
Yes, the blue whale is amazing.
Because you're like in that room and they've got, like, it's that whole big room and you're kind of like all around the edges, the other sea life dioramas. But there's the big blue whale that's on the ceiling in the middle of the whole fucking thing, and you're just like, holy shit! Like, you still seeing it there still is, it's difficult to wrap your head around the sheer size of that fucking thing, like that's a real, still existing animal.
Right. Well, and especially because like in a room upstairs is an elephant, and this thing could eat an elephant.
Yes. And it's
And the
like,
megalodon jaws, those are cool.
yeah. Oh, can I close?
Yes.
Yeah.
I gain new strength.
The megalodon jaws are cool
Definitely.
with the big teeth.
Malefa, I am surprised my own self that I didn't die. I think
Finally.
I don't know. Am I doing something wrong? I need to figure out if I need to be dying more.
Man, I was trying to get ancient legendary shoulders from fucking Kadala, and I just got them as a drop.
Figures.
Yeah. Also, are you guys gonna actually pick that stuff up and like break it? Nobody wants it? Jeez.
I mean, I can break it if
It's
no
so
one else
messy
wants
in
it.
here. Yeah, I'm good on mats and shit, so.
Bird, do you want any of it?
Go for it.
Okay. Like, some of it was stuff that I had dropped just because I'm like, well, I don't need this.
Yeah, I've just been breaking stuff at this point because we're all getting a lot of stuff, so I figured you guys are good on mats too. So unless it's something that I think one of you can actually use, then I'm just...
At this point, I'm cubing stuff whenever
Yeah.
I can.
Well, I haven't bothered cubing anything though, because I'm lazy. Oh,
Bless me.
yeah, I can hear
Gesundheit.
you through duck spike.
Wow.
What do you want, Foof?
Oh,
he's
fool.
chilling on top of the shelf. Yeah, we have some new IKEA shelves in here, and Foof's been taking up residence on top of them when we're here.
IKEA foof.
Right now, he's on top of David's, and he went because David started petting him,
Aw.
and now he was like looking at him like, wait, why'd you stop? So David started petting him again. He's getting chin scratches.
I don't have a kitty.
You don't have a kitty?
I don't have
one
kitty.
kitty. I have Kaylee, who's a big old fat
It is
frog.
missing in 6. She just said.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh no, Gotham spoiler.
I'm completely surprised at how low this counter is.
Clearly, we're not trying hard enough.
No, we're not. Oh, good.
Well, I started with 63, then did 64, so now I'm doing 65.
Inara.
We're pushing it, man. Pushing.
Woo!
Which, you know what that means? That means we're actually doing some progression.
Nice. Burp.
Yay!
We are.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
Okay, cancel.
Yeah, cancel.
Try again. Sorry.
Oh my god, you are the worst.
I am.
I'm still not the worst yet. I must be doing.
No,
I'm
but
really
you're-
doing something wrong.
You're the worst as a given. We don't have to qualify it.
Aw. Aw, you
thought we
do
established
care.
that. There, now you can bring up your death counter.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Are you?
Sorry. I am.
Okay.
Let me rephrase that. I'm paying attention.
Need more time.
Oh, this has changed a bit.
Not ready yet.
Get out of the death. Get out of the death.
I did.
I was talking to myself. It was my
Wait,
song.
what?
Need more time.
Well, it was like it died right here at the, narrow area at the door, so I had to move to a spot where I wasn't going to die.
I've gained new power.
So it
So-
helps to sing.
What you're saying is you had to move to not step in stupid.
Recharging.
Yes, which is how it works.
This is an interesting concept.
Yeah. That when you see the stupid under your feet, then you go, oh, maybe I shouldn't stand there, and you move.
You're assuming I can find my feet.
Well, I mean, you're a duck. They're pretty big,
Not ready yet.
They really kind of are.
You have something to say about that, duck?
Quack?
Way to go, she. You don't rush the spagat.
Oh god, but that pain is so real though, because I do that all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, I did that with my ramen today.
Oh, have we talked about Super Ramen here?
Need more time.
I
Oh.
think so.
Okay.
No, it's a wonder I still have a lining on the inside of my mouth.
Ready yet.
The mouth is surprisingly a resilient thing.
Thank
mean,
God.
like, Cuts and stuff on the inside of one's mouth actually heal more quickly.
Recharging.
I think it has something to do with the saliva.
It is, because it actually has human growth hormone in it.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. Science.
The only part of your body that heals faster than the inside of your mouth is your eyes.
Makes
Huh.
sense. Oh god.
Not ready yet.
Poison. Poison is the bane of my life. Like, literally.
God, that took me a second.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Yeah, big shoes.
Yeah.
Big
Yeah.
shoes, not so much with the brain cells.
No.
No,
No.
no. Brains and feet are not
Damn it.
related
Smiles on me.
or proportional.
Not ready yet.
You know, I don't even have like a rotation or anything. I just button mash so much.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really
And I'm
the
always out of mana, and I'm like, shit, I should probably try like actually doing some sort of rotation. Nah. I mean, obviously it seems to work, so whatever.
Still recharging.
Yeah, like
Damn it.
my layout is that I've got skills that'll generate rage, and then I've got one that spends all of it but does a lot of damage, and just you press all the things.
Yes. Push the buttons.
Need more time.
So I've been trying to decide, like, you know, I've been using this service to multi-stream to Twitch and Mixer and YouTube, and it's just that, like,
More time.
anytime that anyone's here, everyone's usually on Twitch, and I'm kind of wondering if it might make things a little bit easier if I just start streaming directly there.
Well, I think the reason you were streaming on YouTube is because it saves the, like, it uploads the video, right?
Yeah.
Like on Twitch, it only stays for a certain amount of time, but on YouTube, you can upload it like permanently or whatever.
Yeah, like YouTube is where I have all of my archives. I'm
Yeah.
just wondering.
Yar.
Oh my God, Stanley! Oh my God, God, that was such a good game. Yeah, I've been wondering if it might be something fun for me to learn of stream on Twitch and then record at the same time so it saves locally, and then
Just upload to YouTube.
yeah, like upload to YouTube after I do some kind of editing or something, like
Yeah.
actually work on a channel intro and take out the time, you know, that 10 to 15 minute lead up, you know?
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, like, if that's something that you wanted to do. Because, yeah, I would think, like, people that even started out on, like, YouTube or whatever have pretty much come over to Twitch as well. Because, like, there's a bit of a delay on the other things. Like, all of it has a delay, but I think that the YouTube and Mixer ones have, like, more of a delay. And it's more difficult, I think, to kind of interact. Because, like... For example, with me, like, I won't see it unless I remember to look at your little chat thing on your window.
Uh-huh.
But otherwise, I'm normally looking at the chat on Twitch, like, because I have Twitch open on my other monitor.
Right.
So...
Still recharging. I have been hit.
It's kind of like... I'll try to remember to look on the other one and be like, oh shit, with somebody who's not on Twitch talking.
Not ready yet.
So yeah, I may have to start, like, yeah, again, in all of this free time that I have, I may have to start looking into how to make a show intro.
Yeah.
Well, I consider that a hobby thing, though. I mean, like, that's
Yeah.
sort of in that little free time that you have. It's if you're enjoying it, like, on some level, that you're like, oh yeah, you know, I want to do something with the stream, then to me that counts as a hobby thing. So...
Yeah, I don't like being bored. I was bringing this up to a coworker today of, like, if I have time where I'm not, like, tasked to do something, like if I'm not doing a particular chore or something,
if you're
something
not
that
feeling
absolutely,
productive.
yeah, if I'm like, if I do not have to be productive, I'm not going to just sit and do nothing. I don't like being that passive, you know?
Hash can relate to that. My stuff is not related at all to productivity. It's whether I'm under or overstimulated.
Oh, that's fair.
But that's, you know, ADHD thing. Present.
More time.
Yeah.
Still recharging.
I don't know if Hush is even paying attention right now because she had a wisdom tooth out today.
Oh
Oh no!
There is possible pain going on.
Not ready yet.
And
Or just high amounts of medication.
There's also that possibility, which I know is often preferable when your whole face hurts.
More time.
Was it just one, or did
It was, I
she
think,
have all of
just
them
one.
pulled? Ow.
ow.
Whew.
That was the
We are-
first time I died! Holy shit!
Maybe you're getting better at this whole, like,
Still recharging.
not being underfoot
Hi,
thing.
Hush.
We don't want to do what?
Tempt fate?
Tempt fate?
It isn't tempting fate if you're actually good at it.
I'd rather be lucky than good any day.
That's fair.
See, now I died again.
Yeah,
You're
not a
welcome.
workaholic tonight, thankfully, because, I mean, it's sad that it takes crippling pain to take you down, but... At least you're laying the fuck down.
That just shows how much of a badass you are, Hush. It's like, yeah, you know what? I had to have wisdom teeth taken out for me to slow down. What's your...
I'm so sorry. Nothing
Yeah.
is worse than tooth pain.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Oh shit, oh shit.
But at least they're like, I mean, you know, it's gonna be like a
Oh,
day
shit.
or two of misery, and then it's gonna be better after that, right? Like, it's...
More time.
The whole point of getting the wisdom teeth out is usually because they're impacted or something and they're gonna cause problems, or they already are. Like mine were hurting me when I had
Ready yet.
Duck will still scream.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah, give me a minute.
Son of a!
I hope that's not like that doesn't bother people when it's just every so often. Son of a.
No, I don't think it bothers anyone, or else we wouldn't all still be here.
Son of a gun-chewing funk monster.
And fuck your deadlines, Hush. You need rest.
Oh my god, what the hell? It was so close.
Ah, why am I still dying? Oh,
Yeah, what
Jesus.
the hell?
Something was like almost killing me there.
No, there's still what the shit?
What the wait, there's something. Oh, there's like things that are. Oh, it glitched. That is interesting. That is like straight up glitch.
Oh, is it?
Oh
is
my
it glitchy?
god.
Yeah, because we can't target them.
Okay,
They're just on screen.
grabbing my shit and getting the hell out of here.
I wonder if
same.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Jesus.
Are you able to target that? Nope. Nope.
Nope.
Alright,
That's wild.
got an idea.
Not ready yet.
It doesn't look like they're being affected by anything.
God. Okay. This is...
Okay, well, I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
Oh, I did. Okay, well, I'm gonna revive in town. So, like, let yourself die and revive in town.
Oh, that shouldn't be hard. Oh, look. There it is.
And then we'll see about going back after. Maybe it'll, like, fix itself after we're off the screen, right?
Wow.
Gonna go back.
Oh, you actually have to go back?
Well, yeah, because I got killed. I can't upgrade my gems.
Oh.
And you can't close if you can't upgrade the gems.
I was lucky enough that I got to upgrade mine. Like, do you want a distraction?
Well, I'm checking to see if it fixed itself. It looks like it did.
And a chill filled the room.
I need to go back.
Thank you, She, for backing me up on that. That's what I tried to explain to her. But no.
Oh, boy.
Volcato smiles on me.
Oh, that's interesting.
Are you gonna share with the class?
Oh, that.
Oh, that's part of a 2-set, yeah.
Yeah.
It is something that I believe is used. Hold on, let me see what the thing is. Yeah, that's I think used in monk speed builds.
Oh.
And also there's I think possibly a particular demon hunter build that uses melee weapons. And I think there's a build that uses those two in particular.
Let's see. Oh, looks like I'm gonna put
Bella.
that there.
And you know, Hush, that I love you, but my love is tough.
If I was ever to get a sub button, what kind of emotes would I make? Do we really...
Ducks.
They be all Dragon Ball?
That's it. It would be one of those two or a mix of them. There's really no other answer.
We would need some Hannibal ones too, just because of the name.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, is there anything
We have
new
some
and
pretty
interesting?
amazing emotes in our server these days. I
Eh,
don't know if you've seen them, Birdie.
Is there?
Oh
any...
yes, I have. I love them.
Yeah, is there anything new and interesting happening in the Hannibal fandom? Because we kind of haven't really gotten a chance to talk about Hannibal that much.
Well, I mean, our server started a rewatch that got a lot of traction, like with the fandom at large.
Oh damn, I missed it. Oh shit, I was gonna try that.
You
You
can
haven't
catch
missed
up.
it.
They only just started.
We're only on, yeah, this is only week 2.
Oh okay,
Like, we're watching 1 episode per week, so it's going until the end of the year.
sweet.
Yeah, I'm gonna get in on it too. Probably starting. I think I'm gonna watch the first 2 episodes.
Damn it, Kadala, give me something worth salvaging.
No.
Yeah, the emotes that we originally had were all the ones that you gave us, and then we've taken some of them out because I found that people weren't really using them and people were asking for other characters and stuff. So I started like putting in other characters, like we've got Bedelia drinking wine, and we've got Margot with a sassy face, and we've got a couple of Alana ones, stuff like that. And then recently I also have made some really silly ones, and so has my new lead, Jade. They also made a few fun ones, like Hugh Dancy with the laser eyes.
Oh god, that's terrifying.
Yeah, and I made the one that has that oh, what's it called? It's the meme. Hold on. Shit.
Oh, do I have a non-duck get stuck Discord, and is it public? No, I do not have a I don't have a public one. Just, and really it is mainly just because I'm like you see how incredibly active I am in the non-spoilers chat on that Discord, as in not at all. I used to be more active until I switched jobs, and now I can't be on Discord while I'm at work. Probably for the best, but
Well, that
like every so often I might get an alert on my phone, but I'm actually like I don't even, I'm not even I think I can get access to my phone during lunch, so it's difficult for me to actually be on Discord on a regular amount of time. But it's also because like we have Namarie rehearsal, then we've got handbell rehearsal, and then we're doing this tonight, and then I've also got, whenever I'm playing the Dragon Ball Super card game, and when we've got movie night, when I'm planning another D&D game, it's okay. This is weird.
It's the Yaranaika face, which I put on a drawing of Hannibal for our server to make a new emoji. So that's one of the silly ones that I did. Oh man.
Ooh. Oh, it's only 9 o'clock. I shouldn't be yawning.
Bad duck, more rifts.
Yeah, what the hell, man?
Or, well, I would suggest caffeine, but I didn't sleep very well last night because of caffeine. I mean, I'd like to hang out more in Discord, but I could see myself not doing anything else, and that would be bad, especially for my conductors.
Yeah, no, I just like I have like the one server that I'm really active in. I'm in a couple of other ones, but I really only pay attention to the Hanagram one for the most part. I'm gonna bring it up to 66.
All right.
You think we can try to push it to 69 tonight?
Kinky.
Well, I mean, you know, we're usually trying to get Duck to 69 deaths, but if we can't get him to 69 deaths, maybe we can get to Rift 69, right? Because we're super mature.
We're totally super mature.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-bye.
Oh,
No,
God.
don't come towards me. No, don't come towards me. Go away.
Are you attracting the locals?
I'm just standing back here, and all of a sudden here comes one of those stupid cultists. I'm just like, I could sneeze on you and kill you, but I can't at this difficulty.
What's with the time card system, She?
Need more time. The angels have blessed me.
Oh, boy.
Not ready yet.
When I was trying to do my time card today,
Wilt against my
like,
blow.
I couldn't... Like, I was having a very hard time accessing my, my time card. Like, it crashed my browser twice. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I thought this was supposed to be pretty new. And then I realized, oh, I was using Microsoft Edge. Ugh.
Ew.
I don't have a time card because I work with, you know, a bunch of old people, so we write it down on a, like a printed out spreadsheet
Oh, good
time
God.
card.
Yep, same here.
And then it gets signed off on by the direct supervisor or immediate supervisor.
Yep.
More time.
We
and
do
then
that too.
processed by HR.
Though part of the reason we do it the way we do is because it's on the same sheet is like number of classes taught and then also like number of hours worked, so that, you know, like people that, like company members that teach classes and do, because it's billed differently.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
You know,
Makes
that either, you know, teach classes and either work in the office and or clean the studios.
Need more time.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's easier to keep up with that way, and you know, and
That's
we
kind
only
of what it is for, like, our system is the same as the daycare level, but I think it's because of the daycare level that we have it. Because it's the same thing, that there are different hours that get coded differently for payroll.
Right.
Because it's paid differently depending on whether it's like actual daycare hours or if it's considered like what's called second group or extra hours or whatever. And then if it's like health and safety, that gets paid differently, and
Need more time.
it needs to be accounted for and whatever. Yeah.
Yay.
Hey.
Oh, is your place one of those ones where you like go back in and like mess with it? Because I actually kind of there was a place that I worked at where you had to kind of
Need more time.
go back and like fuck around with what your actual hours were because of the way that it logs. I don't know. It was something dumb.
I have never been at a place that's like,
Not ready
you
yet.
get one 30-minute and two 15s. Like,
Oh no, that's pretty that's actually like the rules here, depending on how many hours you work.
I mean,
Like if it's over 6 hours, then
Still
you
recharging.
need to get at least like if it's I think more than 3 hours, you get 15 minutes, and if it's more than 6 hours, then you get a half-hour lunch.
That's the
So-
way the union works for Stagehands Union as well. Is I think it's every 2.5 hours, or I think they do it every 2 hours and 45 minutes. You get a 15-minute break, and then you get either a half hour or an hour for lunch, depending on whether or not you're eating on site. If you eat on site, you only get 30 minutes, but you stay on the clock. That's the nice thing.
Yeah.
But if they aren't feeding you on site, then you get an hour, but you're not on the clock. But you do actually get to leave and go stretch your legs. So it's kind of a trade-off.
bonus on that. Yeah. In my case, I technically have an 8.5-hour day, and 1 hour of that is lunch, and half an hour of that is paid.
Nice.
Wow. We yeah.
So I actually get paid for 8 hours out of the 8.5.
Like I'm not complaining about my current job. I really don't think I could ever complain about my current job. But
Not ready yet.
like we do the same thing where we have like we work 8.5 hours and we get 30 minutes off
Need more
of
time.
that, like off the clock for lunch, because we have the ability to eat on site. But
Still
the
recharging.
place that I was at before, we were given 1 hour off the clock because we had to actually, like, we could bring our food in, but all they had was like a refrigerator and a microwave, so you could go and take like an actual hour. It was just, so we were working for 9, but not on the clock.
You know, anywhere that I've worked where you work an 8-hour day, it's either that you get an hour lunch with half of it paid, or you get a half-hour lunch and 2 15-minute breaks. That's just the way that I think it works in Ontario.
For here, it depends on the industry. Like, anything to do with customer service, you are lucky if you get a 30-minute break for every 8 hours.
Yeah, no, here it's a required, like, it doesn't matter if it's customer service or what. Like, it's a standard across all jobs.
Well,
The same
and it-
thing as, like, I just recently discovered, actually, because sick leave thing,
recharging.
one of our friends there in the server lost her job recently. Like, tomorrow's her last day, because they said that she was off work too long for her pneumonia, and then she ended up having to come in late one day because her sister was in a car wreck and needed surgery. So I mean, those are two legitimate reasons for missing work, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So here, it would be illegal to fire her for that. Like, literally, she's protected here, if that were the case. But apparently in the States, you guys don't have that.
No. Well, it depends on which state. Like, where we are, we're in an at-will state, in which case the employer can, with or without provocation, with or without notice, fire you at any point in time.
Oh, that's not terrifying.
For, like,
It really
they don't have to give you a reason. They don't have to give you any kind of warning or anything like that. And so customer service, they abuse the shit out of that. Like, if you don't show up to work for a shift, it doesn't matter if it's a legitimate emergency or not. You could lose your job.
Yeah, no, like right now I'm on this 2-week sick leave. They cannot fire me for it because it's part of a worker accommodation, which is protected by law. Because I have a doctor's note that says that I am unfit to work for those 2 weeks, so they can't reasonably expect me to work, basically, and that I'm not allowed to be penalized for that. If I was just missing work, like if I was calling in sick in general and, you know, it was affecting my work or whatever, then you would be able to do something about that. But I have an actual... Yeah, there's like the 90 days thing. There's a 90-day grace period where you basically do not have any security whatsoever.
Mhm.
But beyond that,
Which is fair. I mean, because that's you know, you're also figuring out whether or not this is going to work or not.
yes, yeah, that I definitely have. Like, I mean, I get it. It sucks when there are certain places that will do that. Like, they'll fire somebody before their 90 days and then
Yep.
hire somebody new, and they'll keep doing that.
It's so they don't have to pay for any kind of benefits.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure that it would be the 2 breaks that are paid and the lunch that is unpaid. That's usually, I think, how it works. I mean, technically it works out to the same, but like as far as the way that they word it or the way that it's generally divided, I'm pretty sure it's that you get 2 paid breaks and an unpaid lunch. I can close?
Yes.
Yes.
I grow in power.
Yeah, there was one time I was working my retail job, and well, okay, so I got 2 of them. One, there is apparently some rule that if you had to work the night like a previous night, you were supposed to have a minimum of 8 hours between your previous day's shift and your current day's
Yes.
shift.
Yeah, that's called a turnaround shift.
Yeah.
At least that's
Totally.
what I was calling it when we were at the hotel, because we had turnarounds all the time.
Yeah, totally didn't get that.
Fortune favors the bold.
That was just,
That will look
I'm
nice.
sorry,
cannot afford
there's no
that.
one else, and
That happened at the hotel a lot, even though it's actually against our rules as well. Like, really, we probably could have gotten him in shit for that, but...
yeah, like, I'm pretty sure that someone would have had some legal trouble for that, but it's customer service. There's not really a whole hell of a lot you can do about
yeah,
that.
it's difficult.
Well, I mean, you could do something if you wanted to go bother with getting a lawyer, but they'd fire you before, so then what would it be worth?
Right.
Oh my god, a place did that? Hush? Holy shit. Disgusting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, fire the
Oh
full
gosh, that
time.
happens a lot. Yep.
Fire the full time so they actually have a termination date, and then hire them back on as part-time. They have to take the new hire date so they get no seniority and they can start at entry level, and it's so shady.
Yeah, that's gross. But yeah, no, I mean, like, I was recently refreshed on all the health and safety stuff because there were, like, updates or whatever, and, we just, like, I guess part of the standard is that you get retrained every year so that everybody is aware of what their rights are within whatever company they work in or whatever. So we all have to, like, read through these booklets and sign them and blah, 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 blah. So, like, I mean, from the stuff that I recall more easily, like, basically it's like, if I have any sort of note from my doctor, say about, like, my ADHD, which is where, I'm coming from on gonna need an accommodation for the Fridays. Like, I'm gonna look at, working Monday to Thursday or whatever. As far as I'm aware, they can't fire me for that. If my doctor writes me that note that says, like, she should have 4-day weeks to accommodate her because of her condition or whatever, like in her issues, that they have to accommodate that. They are, because it's up to, what's the phrase that's used? Up to, like, something like reasonable harm or something, David? David? David. Oh, he's fighting a dragon.
Oh. Yeah.
Yay, go dragon. Wait.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Do you know what the wording is with the whole health and safety standards? It's like up to reasonable harm or something like that, where, like, an employer is required to accommodate an employee based on whatever their conditions are, whatever, like, if they're blind, deaf, if they have, like, if they're paralyzed or wheelchair bound or whatever. Yeah, like, I mean, it's some sort of, like, reasonable thing. Like, basically, if it's going to cost the business too much money, for example, to accommodate an employee, then they wouldn't be expected to make that accommodation because they can't afford it. But if it is reasonable to expect the employer to make the accommodation, then they have to do it, basically.
Right, like, it's one thing to, put a handrail in on a stairwell for somebody
Yes.
that, or put a ramp in.
But if you're,
But,
like,
like-
reworking the building and having to install elevators or something, or some kind of, like, crazy expensive, like, that wouldn't work like, that wouldn't necessarily be enforced because that's not reasonable within what the business is capable of doing. And but as like, if, for example, I was doing my job, and in the course of my job, I was blinded or whatever. Not necessarily that from my job, obviously, just, you know, if whatever something happened to my eyesight, and it's possible for them to say get a program that I can hear everything that's happening, like, you know, whatever, like there's accessibility options within Windows and within certain programs for people that are either deaf or blind or whatever, right? So like they would reasonably probably be able to accommodate me for that, and I wouldn't be losing my job over it.
Right.
Makes sense. So I mean, like I said, with this whole sick leave thing or whatever, they can't legally fire me in this 2 weeks. I mean, that doesn't necessarily stop them from, like, if I come back and somebody wants to make things hard for me and kind of try to make it so that I want to quit, that's not necessarily as easy to deal with, right? Like, I mean, if it's not something that I can prove, then it might not go so easily. But if it's like, if there does become some sort of hostile work environment and I report that, then there would be an investigation. And like, I have all sorts of legal protections and stuff for that. Like, if I can't go to my employer about that, you know, the work environment, then there are other avenues to go to report, like through the government or whatever, where they would come investigate that or enforce the discipline or whatever on that.
I'm coming to live in your backyard.
Seriously.
Yeah, I was just telling Hush earlier today too that like one of the nice things that they just, I think Ontario implemented this year is anyone under 25 gets their medication for free now. So
Holy shit.
yeah.
I'm coming to live in your backyard. I'm not even. I'm over 25, but
No,
I'm
but
gonna
it's
come live in your
obviously-
backyard.
Well, it's a pretty big backyard. We have a whole conservation area back there.
Sweet.
Sweet. I have a tent and a hammock. I'll come sleep with the dog when it rains.
Yeah. In the
Can-
closet.
Can I cuddle with Sam Sam?
She'll probably want to sleep on anyone, so you know, if you are okay with furnaces.
I am a
Okay, I'm gonna
furnace.
bring this. Well, then you can boil together.
All
And
right.
meanwhile, I will be spoof until he pops.
Oh, Burb.
Why'd you decline?
Hey,
You just declined.
why did I decline? I didn't click on anything.
Oh, you might have been away. Considered away.
Oh, maybe I was sitting there still. Yeah, I was sitting still. It might have. Sorry.
Yeah. How dare.
Um,
Okay, I'm bringing it up again. We did 66, now I'm bringing it up to 67. Let's see how we do.
oh, I don't have I don't have a rift key. That's why.
Oh.
Well then, let's
I'm
do some
out.
regular ones.
Yeah, da 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 da. Sorry about that. I didn't
No,
realize
that's
it.
fine. Now we know what the issue was. Like, that's all that it. Like, I really don't care about not doing them. You know,
This will be a
wondering why it
crazy
wasn't
time.
working.
You will
Holy shit.
Get out of the stupid.
Wow, that was
Feels
that
kind
was,
of easy now, though, eh?
Yeah. Like this is unexpected.
Yeah, it feels like we're cutting through butter.
Like
need more time.
I'm killing things.
And I mean,
This
I
is a-
say all this nice stuff, but it's not like, I mean, Ontario has problems. Don't get me wrong.
Still
We
recharging.
have all sorts of fucked up shit going on with, you know, you want to get into political debates with the liberals and the conservatives.
Oh god.
Yeah, David's like, don't even get me started on the election.
Also, you're milk in a bag. I mean,
Well,
Yeah,
I mean-
really.
Hey, milk in a bag is valid, okay?
Sorry, I
I
wanted
don't
to-
personally get my milk in a bag because I have lactose-free milk, so I have to get the cartons. But David's and my mom's milk is in bags.
You
it's just funny to me that like why that is. I did not know. I knew that it was a thing, but I figured maybe okay, well maybe it's And maybe it has something to do with your pasteurizing practices up there or something like that, you know. So I wasn't really thinking, but I didn't realize that it has something to do with like how much milk you can sell somebody.
Yeah, no, dairy laws here are really fucking weird. I think I did mention at one point that we can't get heavy cream here.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that was actually what started it. Was that you were like,
Yeah.
I had to go to such that. I'm like, you act like heavy cream is like
Like a
cocaine.
contraband thing. Yeah. Because dairy farmers are like, nope, you don't get to have it, bitches. Yeah, no,
So
the
weird.
Canadian political climate right now is definitely all fucked up because the liberals fucked up as per usual.
Oh,
But, you know,
shit.
Yeah. We're
Um,
not good. We're not good at organizing.
Yeah, and like I know that in Ontario, I think it is that like right now the liberals are all like free childcare for everyone, which is a great idea. But of course, now everybody's like, but where are you gonna get the money for this? And so everybody's bitching about it, and I'm just kind of like, yeah, okay, I'm just gonna sit back and eat some popcorn.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's cool. Honestly, though, it's cool that that can like even be straight-facedly argued in your country. It says something about that. Like, if somebody,
Well, I
brought
mean,
it
in
up-
Quebec, I'm pretty sure it is free for everyone. Like, they already have that all worked out, but they're trying to do it, I think, like, at least across Ontario, if not countrywide. I don't know. But it doesn't, like, yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, fuck the Conservatives, but I really don't like any of the other major parties that are like, all of them
That's
are
where I
fucking...
am.
you know,
Plural,
like,
as in more than two. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, no, we regularly have. There's the Liberals, Conservatives, and NDP are kind of like the big three, and then there's
The
also
Holy
the Green
Trinity.
Party, which has one whole seat right now in Parliament, I think. And then there is
It's more than our Green
the
Party
Bloc
has.
Québécois, which is only really ever popular in Quebec, as one can reasonably expect.
Yeah, yeah.
God.
Apparently, they're not even popular in Quebec anymore, David.
Ooh.
Ooh,
They have
burn.
apparently like 3 seats, which, when you compare it to the Green Party, then that's pretty sad. David just said they had 7, but 4 of them left the party and they're independents now. I hear a goblin.
Yeah, where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
It's over here.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, there's a
These
whole lot of
headbutting guys keep.
Yeah. I'm trying to go after this fucker, so I'm kind of not being thorough in
Ready yet?
destroying everything.
Oh,
I have to go back
Yeah,
and
we
get
got
a
it.
like. Oh god, the pipeline thing is like that's where the political debate I'm just like we should probably not get started
or
on that.
wow, yeah. Take a drink and we're moving on.
Yeah, just cuz you know, like Trudeau had all wonderful things going on in the beginning and he was all like talking really nice and we were all like, "Oh, hey, yeah, we're doing way better than the US. Look at their Dorito." And you know, whatever. And it's like
I mean, that's real.
Yep.
but now it's kind of like, oh, ouch, awkward. There's a lot of really just not cool stuff going on, and
You know, I noticed that he kind of fell off the hype machine, and I kind of
Yes,
had wondered
really
what the deal
hard.
was.
Like, I mean, it wasn't a light fall. This was like, it's bad.
Like, was it one defining moment, or was it like just a series
I
of
would
things that added up?
It's been a kind of series of things, but I think the pipeline is the big one because of his public communication about it. Like the way he's responding to criticism about it has been really not great.
Oh, yikes.
Ooh.
I mean, one of the big things is like relationships to the native population. And the fact that like there's been a lot of sort of blatant disregard of all the treaties. And you know, like
Shocker.
those treaties are still, you know, like they're there. They are still legally fucking binding. Like they should be followed as far as I'm aware. Like those are agreements, right? But they're basically like, yeah, but it doesn't work for us anymore. So fuck you.
Oh my god, there's sound. This is sounding a lot like a lot of U.S. history.
Yes. Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
pretty
we're kind of intertwined, and there seems to be, at times, a push for trying to be more like the U.S. Like
Oh, please,
the
not now.
the last prime minister was a conservative leader, and he had a lot of ideas that were very close to a lot of the kind of Republican things. And like, he was talking about like making the prison system more like the US. And
No, don't.
No.
yeah, and we're just kind of like, it doesn't work there. What in what fucking universe does it work? Like, why are you trying to do that right now? And like, just
Figure out who's writing his campaign checks, and you'll have your answer.
Not ready yet.
yeah, and stuff like that, like what she just brought up there is, it's old school kind of, it's, like tactics, like underhanded kind of bullshit where they're trying to choke out groups that are trying to, just fucking live, but because, there's all that
Need more time.
greedy bullshit going on. And of course, like, this is one of the reasons I just don't go on Facebook, because there are people that are reblogging and debating, reblogging, I should say, like posting or sharing or whatever the fuck you do on Facebook. Like, all the stuff that's going on, and like, you'll have the people that you thought that were decent people, and they're posting stuff that is like pro pipeline, and they're making these big long arguments about why, people whining about the pipeline should shut up. And I'm just like, do you actually know who is doing this alleged whining? Like, do you know what their reasons are?
Probably, my guess is probably not, because that
Well,
at least for the U.S. mentality would be out of sight, out of mind. Oh,
well, and there's also a very unfortunate thing about a lot of people. Like in Canada, one of the things is that people like to think that Canada's better, so people don't want to face the reality of how we actually treat the indigenous population, and like the fact that reservations and stuff are in awful, deplorable condition, and that people like they're going, oh well, there's corruption there too, and the band leaders and stuff, like they waste the money and blah, blah. And I'm like, what? I mean, do you see how they actually live? Did you actually look at the houses and like what people have there? Like, that's not fucking corruption. They barely get enough money
More time.
to actually like run their communities. So and like, I've had people argue with me, yeah, well, like the place that I live, like you see all of them like being trash and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, again, they don't think about the reasons behind that. They don't think about what the causes are and all the different things that are like all connected to that, right? Like,
Right.
where when you're saying, oh hey, I see this homeless person and they're such and such type of a person, and you're just going, yeah, it just figures, like that's what I expect from that kind of person. And I'm like, okay, and you don't see a problem with that mentality and how that might actually be contributing to their situation?
Right. See, also,
Like-
any discussion about like inner city violence in America.
Yes.
Not ready yet. I've gained
Pretty much
new
anything
power.
that is ultimately, I'm just gonna fucking say it, racialized.
Mm-hmm.
Oh sure.
That people don't want to admit that these are the actual reasons behind that it's, it's a systemic racism, that it's something that's ingrained, and that, you don't even notice it. Like, yeah, okay, so you're saying you don't hate that guy down the street that's different from you because, we were all taught by Sesame Street or whatever that we're all equal, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're acting in a way that is treating them equally. Like, you're still living a life that is benefiting from your own position that somebody else doesn't have.
Right. And
like-
not acknowledging it.
Yes, and so, and acknowledging it, a lot of people have a really hard time because, I mean, I get it. Like, obviously, I was in that position at one point as well, where, it's uncomfortable to admit that you're contributing somehow. when you think
Right.
that you're a good person and you're like, what, I'm not racist, I'm not this, I'm not that, so it's not me, I'm not doing it. And it's like, well, no, but if you actually sit down and think about it and unpack it, you can see that it's not that you're doing it on purpose, but you have to acknowledge that there are things in your life that you were taught to expect,
Mm-hmm.
that you are able to live your life in a certain way, and there are things that come easily to you that do not come easily to other people for those reasons. So it's like, you know, and yeah, Alberta's actually the place. Like, I had a couple of people that I worked with at a different job that had lived in Alberta, and they were talking about they were living near a reservation or something, and they were talking about like how there's all these people that are like on drugs and drinking and blah 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 blah, and how it's such a mess and they don't take care of anything, and I'm just like, I got really really mad because they were basically dismissing my attempt to kind of point out why they were like seeing that, right? Like, I was kind of like, well, this isn't, just some people being bums on the street and drinking and doing drugs. Like, this is a whole systemic issue that is creating those environments, and that's all they have at the end. When they're at rock bottom, those are the only things they have left.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, they completely dismiss that. They don't even want to acknowledge it or deal with it. They're just like, no, they're just trash. And so they basically are getting what's coming to them, what they deserve.
Right,
And it's
because
like,
there's way too much with the conservatives. I see this a lot in my family. Of they really hard lean on this whole individual responsibility thing, and they really believe it's like
they're
you
just
made
not
a
working
choice.
hard enough.
Right,
Yeah.
you're making choices to not, even if you're poor, because I came from quote unquote poor, which nobody white in America, well, I won't say nobody, but most people that go, oh well, I came from nothing. I'm like, no, your dad had a pension and drew a
Yeah.
military paycheck. He didn't come from nothing.
Yeah, no, and I mean, there are definitely people that came from nothing that are white or whatever, but they often end up like, you're finding that there's other factors there that are also, like, there's the hierarchy of privilege, right? Like, so they were already born into some sort of situation that was at a disadvantage somehow, whether there be like, one of their parents was disabled, or something along that line. Like, there's going to be something else going on there. So there's the mental illness thing, like, which there's very very little support, whatever, of that. So it's like,
Can I close?
oh yes, go for it.
By the way, I have a puzzle ring.
Oh,
Yay,
let's do
puzzle
the
ring.
thing.
Hold on, I have to Kadala.
Yeah, that's a thing.
So it's just kind of like,
I cannot afford that.
it gets frustrating just when people don't want to acknowledge those things, I guess. And in Canada, it's a big problem because of the way that we're like brainwashed in grade school and high school. Like, the stuff that I learned. Well, yeah, and that's exactly it. Like, I'm not saying that they're not there. They absolutely are, but it's the reasons and it's the way that people look at them without even considering what reasons there are behind it. Like, I'm not saying that, there aren't the drug users and the drinkers and whatever, but like, every fucking one of them was dumped into a place that they didn't ask to be born into. And that the country itself is kind of like perpetuating this whole environment that they don't get remotely what they were actually supposed to get. Like, all the things that were supposedly promised, and like, they're doing the absolute bare minimum, and not even that half the time. Like, a close friend of mine is Native and gets involved with their band and all that kind of stuff, and their family, and seeing, like, for example, they were getting their tuition paid through their band, I believe, and their prescriptions and stuff. And there was one point where there was a concern that they wouldn't be able to get their stuff paid for because the band wasn't getting enough money. And so, they were trying to kind of find other ways to sort of fundraise for their community so that they would be able to do the things that they're supposed to be doing, right? because it's like, okay, yeah, like they are supposed to pay for, the education and the prescriptions and the medication, whatever, and all that stuff. But it's like,
Hey, mister, I got some new things.
but they're not actually getting the money to be able to do those things that they're supposed to be doing. And it's just, so somebody else is just like, well, it's their fault for not being smart with their money. And it's like,
oh my god, no it isn't.
how are you supposed to be smart with not enough money? Like, literally not enough. Like, are you listening to those words? This isn't like they can put it in a bank account and get interest and just fucking like live on the interest or something. Like, they need to like feed people. They need to get the houses back up to some sort of livable condition, which isn't happening, by the way. I mean, a lot of those places are filled with like black mold and shit, and they don't have running water, and they don't have hydro, and like, they end up having that whole, like, there's also the intersectionality thing where, you've got people that are tired of dealing with, living on the reservation, because obviously it's shitty, and they're like, well, I can do better than this, and blah blah blah. So they leave the reservation, they go out into the city, and then they're dealing with the systemic racism there, people seeing them a certain way, and the struggles, and whatever, and the fact that they're starting from nothing, and like, there's a whole different set of expectations, there's a whole different culture that they're dealing, it's like, whatever. Sorry, I tried not to talk about this and I got worked up.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Do we want to do the puzzle ring?
Yes, I just need to. I was doing the Kadala thing still.
Yeah. Yeah, it's.
So Canada's great in a lot of ways, and then there's also.
And yet there are certain things that make it just like the U.S.
Yeah. And in some cases, honestly, I almost feel like it's worse in some ways. It's just that we have a face on it, right? Like,
right.
Kind of, oh, well, nobody talks. It's like I said, we get that. Like, I didn't find out about a lot of the really nasty stuff that was going on, like on the reservations and stuff, until I was in university taking women's studies courses that specifically talked about it. So grade school and high school did not give me that basic information.
Of course not. I mean,
like, so the average person, how many people out of the average person, even if they go to university, are actually going to get that information? Because, like, my brother went to university, but he took engineering, and engineering is a very intensive program. Yeah.
That's so true, that's so true. I mean,
but like, so my brother's program is a very intensive program, so he actually was not required to take the number of electives that a lot of programs are. And even if he was, like, the amount of electives that you're able to take, like, what are the odds that you would specifically get a class that's going to tell you about those things, right?
It's slim to none. So, I mean,
yeah.
Over here, and stop me if I'm wrong, but it just seems like all of history stopped after World War II. No one that you had to have some serious fortification in order to teach anything in history from 1945 to 1989. That wasn't that didn't that
I actually did get it.
That didn't involve the Challenger explosion.
Well, no, here's the issue, is because you've got to figure out how exactly did we go from being allies with the communists to fighting them less than a decade later. Like, do we want to talk about that uncomfortable fact and how that we were basically playing world police, because that was pretty much what Vietnam and Korea were? Do we want to have that uncomfortable conversation? No, you don't want to have that uncomfortable conversation, because no one can agree what that conversation is. Low here, 75 years later. We still don't have an agreeable discussion about, did we win the Vietnam War?
Yeah,
no
there's all
knows.
Sorts of, pretty much anything after World War II is just a mess. Like,
because it's not a clean narrative, so no one wants to talk about it, because we can't credibly be like, "Hoorah, America is so great." You can't even be like, "Hoorah, America is so great" in World War II either, but we did eventually get our heads out of our asses.
And yeah, I agree with you, She, that like I had a world history class, like an ancient history, and then world religions actually got canceled because we didn't get enough people in the class. So I ended up getting enrolled, like they ended up doing just a world history course again, and I'm like, but I already took this one, or ancient history, sorry. And so they ended up like getting me into another class, and I don't even remember what I ended up getting after that. But like, it's one of those things that definitely you would think that like some sort of more culturally relevant courses, like something like world religions and all that, would be actually something standard. And but you know,
But
obviously because of we're actually still in a kind of post-colonial society where they're still trying to push the idea of assimilation.
right.
Like, I mean, whatever the government's telling you in school, like, you know, the happy fun theme song way, where we're like, you know, Canada is a mosaic because the US is a melting pot, and that's the difference. You know, because we're
Whatever.
supposed to be celebrating our differences or whatever. So that's literally the line that I was fed my entire elementary and high school life. Like,
That's amazing.
was the cultural mosaic. So, you know, that we're all like, you're allowed to be Polish Canadian and Chinese Canadian and, you know, Lebanese Canadian and all that kind of stuff. But it's like, when you actually look at what's being practiced out on a day-to-day basis, and you know, the fact that like even as like recent as, you know, the 40s and 50s, the Canadian government was putting out, and probably even more recent than that, I'm just kind of remembering off the top of my head right now, the Canadian government was putting out pamphlets for, you know, nutrition to try to help people with, you know, keeping their kids healthy, specifically in an attempt to assimilate like Italian and other European cultures that didn't have Canadian style food. They were trying to eradicate things like, you know, pasta and lasagna and all that kind of stuff, and they're just like, no, you should eat these things because those are healthy. But
Yeah,
obviously
that was
that
a
didn't fucking work.
huge- Well, yeah, because pasta's delicious.
But that was like literally something that the government did, and they put a fucking shiny, squeaky clean image on it that it was for the health of your children. But ultimately what it was is trying to like devalue non-Canadian food, essentially, or like non-English, I should say, non-British food.
Yep, that was a huge thing in the United States in the 30s. They tried
Yes.
to couch it as
shit.
being thrifty,
Yes.
but you know, it was a little bit different. But yeah, we did it in the 30s.
Yeah, it might have been around the same time. Maybe I'm just like forgetting whatever, but I know that it was definitely a thing in either case. Like,
Ah, damn
Aw,
and it's something that you still like in various ways. You still see that kind of thing going on, right? Like that there's
Oh, sure.
a very deliberate attempt to normalize one thing and like not exactly demonize, but what's the word I'm looking for?
marginalized, probably.
Discredit, I guess. Yeah, like they're trying to diminish certain things so that it's like, well, if you're doing this, you're actually doing wrong by your children. Like you're oh, fuck.
Oh.
Damn it.
you're doing them harm somehow by doing this instead of this.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
like that's definitely something that still goes on here. And like yeah, I remember like in elementary we were taught like the whole the scrubbed up and pretty bow version of like, yeah, we made friends with the or Native Canadians, and you know,
Oh,
they got their
God.
reservations, and we have
no.
treaties, and it's all good now. And then in high
Yeah.
school, I was a little bit like fortunate in the fact that like for the most part I did get the more like, okay, well, there was like kind of some trouble and they went a little bit more in depth with like some of the war and blah blah blah, but my history teacher in particular was not interested in giving us just the most squeaky clean image of it. Like he actually did dig in a little bit, and he would get very
That's good.
passionate about it. Like he would start yelling. And oh, I'm gonna turn down the difficulty for this because I think, oops, that was the wrong thing.
Oops.
I was gonna leave the game by accident. Okay, I'm just gonna lower the difficulty by
Alright.
1 and. Anyway, but yeah, like, so he would get really, really, like, you know, passionate about all that stuff. But even then, like, he still didn't really. I think that he probably may have, like, gotten in trouble in the past for how far he went, I think, because he had been a teacher there for a while. So he was kind of like, well, it's not like this. But he wasn't able to go into that much detail. But I still, like, had no idea what the actual extent of it was until I got into that class in university.
Oh,
There
hey.
we go.
Yay!
But mesh, yeah.
The ancient grant me strength.
Alright, now, come on. There we go.
Alright, so let's leave the game and remake it so that we can go back up to 13.
Oh, let's see
I need
here.
to go back.
But
Do
yeah,
we-
so basically, I mean, like, one of the big things is that Canada suffered
Dominions of
from
Hellgrim.
being part of the whole Western world thing. We're still part of colonialism. And so even if we are a different country and there are differences and there are definitely things that are better here, we're still a colonial Western country. Like, so there are still going to be issues about, you know, the countries that have been stomped on in the name of progress, and the way that certain immigrants are treated compared to others. And of course, the fact that if you're white, apparently you're an expat, not an immigrant. But whatever. Just like if you are white, you are a bomber or a crazy person and not a terrorist.
Troubled individual is what they really
Yes.
like to throw around out here.
Or lone wolf. That's my other
Yeah,
favorite one.
yeah,
Yeah.
lone wolf.
I'm like, stop giving wolves a bad name.
I know, right? Wolves don't even go alone. They're fucking pack animals. Lone wolf. Bullshit. Anyway. So there's the rant for the evening. It's been a while since we had a proper rant. Obviously, I'm
It's-
feeling better.
It's good for us. It's good for all of us.
Yes. And thank you, She, for ranting along with me. My fellow Canadian friend.
Your girlfriend who lives in Canada.
I'm the girlfriend that lives in Canada.
That's
She is
fair.
the cat that lives in Canada.
Ah.
Cat person.
I think Inara heard you.
Hi, Inara. You are also a cat.
She's
Where's the best kitty?
she's staring at me. Like, I already fed you. Oh dear.
Hopping off comp for just a sec. I'm good for whatever.
Okay.
Let's see.
right.
We should have a
20
couple
minutes?
more graders.
Well, no, because
Yeah, we
Birdie didn't.
did a regular.
Yeah, but I think we should do a couple more and just like save them up for next time.
Oh, okay.
Because either way, we're gonna end up having to get more of them for when we play again. So might as well just build them up now.
I was totally hoping we were gonna make it to Grift 69 tonight because I'm a child.
Canada.
Canada.
Not ready yet. More fury.
Oh, Canada. Our home and Kittyland? I don't know.
No, now I'm just thinking of the. Oh, what is it, Inara? Do you have something to say? Here, let me see if
Yeah,
I
she
can.
was joining the national anthem I was singing.
Do you have something to say, Inara?
Now she's like, no.
Well, I put the microphone in front of her.
Yeah, so she's like, "Pfft." Oh, there we go. Meow. You gotta help me here, buddy, because I've got these fucking blue dudes.
Oh shit! Sorry.
I
Sorry.
can't do them by myself because they split up.
Right.
Shit,
Yeah.
Distracting him with a kitty.
Still recharging.
Okay, you got that other one there?
Yeah, I got this one.
Not
Okay.
enough
Well, I say that. My damage output isn't as good as yours.
Well, at least you can interrupt them, though, right? Like, from
Oh yeah,
leaving?
fury.
for a while. Oh shit! Now they have to split up. God damn it.
Time.
Well, I'm almost done over here. I just
Okay.
gotta... Ah, shit.
More fury. Still recharging.
One
There's
more,
the
one more.
bird.
There, he's dead. Okay. Whee!
There's
There's
that
one over
one.
here by me.
I need fury.
Nice.
Very
Wow, they
nice.
actually, like, almost all of them dropped legendaries for me. Usually I don't get any from them. They're just like, yeah, I have a lot of potential, but fuck you.
Oh my! Holy shit!
What?
You cleaned up.
I
Gonna
did.
Gonna have to go back to town here in a second.
Need more time.
I just don't grab blues and yellows anymore because I have so many mats and I don't need them. So that way I don't have to go back as often.
I'm sort of obsessive.
Ah, damn.
I saw your body just ragdoll just now.
Yep. You know what? I'm just gonna take this opportunity and go back to town.
Oh, there's a swarm coming over here.
Oh shit. We have an all-time low for the Duck Death Goose counter tonight. You know, we just might. I'm kind of surprised.
Duck,
Yeah, your
Death, Goose, I
survivability.
love it.
Yeah, your survivability is getting better, barbarian.
Ow.
Well, that just means that the season must. Oh shit. I say that now. That must mean
Trying
that
to
the
fucking,
season.
like, stop all these things coming after me and more come. Like,
The season must be drawing to a close,
Still recharging.
and then I will
Okay.
be horrible at this game again, and all will be right with the world.
Need more
well,
time.
I was suggesting that next time we do hardcore.
Oh
No,
fuck berries!
No, thank you.
I would not make my character will not make it to level 10 because of shit like that.
But I think it would be really fun
Not ready.
because
Maybe for one night I would be willing to do it, but not for long term.
Okay, all right. How about
I tried to play hardcore on Diablo 2, and it just makes my blood pressure rise.
yeah?
well, yeah, because like I mean, there would be a lot slower progression. We'd have to be way more careful, and we're like our builds would be very different
Oh
because
my god.
like the stuff that you would think is all great for this, like for the game here. You don't necessarily want to do the same things. Like, you know, you're not going to be filling your gear with like your primary stat gem, for example. You're going to be probably using a lot of purple and white gems because you're going to want more vitality and more resistance. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, and like, you know, the Aquila Quiris or whatever that like is pretty much used for the most part to us here because we end up building all these sets and everything. It's actually like a really good item, and because we don't go very high on the difficulty, we do not get a lot of yellows, let alone legendaries. Like
Not enough
I had a really good time the last time I did hardcore with a group of friends. Like we were all kind of going through and we were on like we were doing voice chat or whatever, and so I have a couple of hardcore characters. I think I have a hardcore Crusader and a hardcore Witch Doctor. And
Jesus.
I'm like
Not ready yet.
400 or 500 Paragon with them actually.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
How do
I
you
managed
stay
to get-
alive that much? Jesus.
Well, you like I said, you take it slower. You're very careful. You don't go into crazy difficulties before you're ready for them.
I'm gonna die.
Like progression is a lot slower.
Still recharging.
Yeah, like, okay, all right. So, like, I'd be willing to try it for a little while.
Not ready yet.
Yeah,
As
I think
in,
we could,
like,
like, I mean, for our first night, like, for the new season, for example, we could do it.
I'd be alright with doing that. Yeah.
yeah, just
And just see how it goes for the one night, and see how many times Duck has to remake his character.
Oh my god.
Need more time.
Anyone have any predictions? Because I'm thinking somewhere in the vicinity of 30.
Not enough fury.
But we're not gonna start on, like, I mean, I usually start on, I think, master difficulty in regular. But I think we'd be starting on maybe, at best, like, hard.
Not ready yet.
At best. And that's, like, you know, because the three of us could probably do it together. But, I mean, if I was starting a hardcore character on my own, my first few levels I would be doing normal.
Recharging.
Wow.
Just to kind of, like, get a feel for the class that I'm playing and know what my limitations are and stuff.
The ancients.
Because let me tell you, that witch doctor did not come easily. I ended up dying several times before I got the one that went to level 70 and has all those Paragon points.
Still recharging.
But oh man, she was fucking like indestructible at that point. Like, I mean, obviously if I pushed and went into higher difficulties, it wouldn't be so easy, but like I was doing a really good build and it was
Need more time.
progressing was pretty steady. So I would have I would enjoy doing that again.
Oh,
Not ready
there
yet.
we go. Boss.
Oh, I'm over here where there's a chest and
That's fine.
some other thing.
Oh shit, never mind. I'm You know, I thought I was participating. No,
Well, you are because you're here and you know.
I'm taking
your
damage.
little dude
That
there.
that is exactly how I'm participating.
Yeah, there you go. That's really duck participation, like ducticipation. Participation?
There you go.
I don't know, something like that. I like making compound words. Okay, I'm just gonna run and look for elites, because I can run through them. Here's one.
Oh, I'm stuck.
Duck is stuck.
Ah, damn it.
I had to, because I'm the worst.
Not ready yet. I am badly hurt.
Damage sponge, more like damage magnet,
there's a
really.
There is
Still
a
recharging.
resplendent chest.
I need
My god,
fury.
why do I... I'm weird. Or
And
rather, like, I don't know, my body is weird.
Need more time.
No, I just suddenly, like, I don't know what it is. Like, I don't think I have any sort of synesthesia, but every once in a while I get a craving for a specific type of food and I can taste it.
that's fair.
Oh, wow.
Strength.
Like, I actually can smell and taste it in the back of my throat when I have a craving for it. And I'm
Damn.
like, I need it. And right now, it's specifically, like, pasta with mushroom Alfredo sauce.
Oh,
Well, David,
damn.
specifically David's mushroom Alfredo sauce. And, like, I can, like, taste it at the back of my throat right now. And now I want it really bad. God damn it.
Oh, boy.
Damn him and his deciding to do it things other than make you pasta.
Yeah, David, why aren't you making me pasta?
Oi, food and drink slave.
Need
What?
more time. I will not be
So
denied.
what is 11 o'clock at night? Make your wife pasta. She's craving it.
I live to egg fights between those two.
I love speaking in the third person like that.
Well, he says he loves wife, so I have to ask him if he loves wife. Ow! Oh, Jesus Christ, that hurts so much. Why are you doing this to me? Oh, fuck, oh, fuck, oh, fuck. I can feel that everywhere. Oh, God. Ow. Ow.
What is happening?
Do we need to like mute the channel there for a second? Do you need a moment?
Do we need a safe word?
I need to
He's...
go.
he's putting pressure on my shoulders.
Oh.
Excellent.
Is this a good thing or a bad thing, or
It's a good thing, but it
a bad
hurts.
thing?
I am actually I do sometimes when in the morning when the animals are starting to like lose it a little bit and want to like be annoying for food, then I start like walking into the guest room and I go meow meow to wake David up.
The best.
Oh, thanks for those demon hunter gloves, you fuck. Ugh. And I'll like start climbing all over the bed and stuff. Yeah.
That's. Oh, never mind then. Okay. Oh dear.
Yeah, no, I know that like, you know, the senses can be all connected and stuff like that. It's just I guess for me it is that one specific thing that gets a little more intense sometimes, that when I have a craving for something that I can taste it and it's like, but I mean, with synesthesia my understanding is that a lot of the time people can like kind of conjure it up at will. Like if they want to taste something, they can just taste it. And I can't do it that way, but it's like that craving thing is connected to the flavor.
God, I would be so much skinnier if I could do that.
I know, right?
I would be considerably fatter. Because it's
Because
like.
I am so one of those people that it's like I will eat not because I am hungry, but because I
You
want
just
to
want that
taste it.
taste. Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. I'm so bad for that.
And see, for me, that is a stress response, and just and also a boredom thing, which is one of the reasons why
Yeah.
like I don't like to be bored, because if I'm bored, I find something to eat, and no.
I am definitely I call it idle eating. I am
Yeah.
definitely an idle eater.
Yeah, same. I have to. That's one of the reasons that I just really try to make a practice. Of course, I'm not doing it right now, but I usually try and make a practice of not having things to eat at my desk.
Yeah, no, I have rockets.
Yeah, I currently have leftover Easter candy and saltwater taffy.
And I want pasta.
Need more time.
I want
Fuck.
cookies.
More fury.
But it's David pasta. It's so good. It's special.
What do you want, Doc?
I want
Still
cookies.
recharging.
David's making cookies. Well, technically not yet. Like he's already made the dough for it, but it's a type of recipe that's like some sort of big fancy fucking gourmet shit. So it's like best
Not
if it
ready yet.
rests in the fridge for a while, I guess. So he's not
Oh,
making
shit, I
them
gotta
until
make cookies
tomorrow.
tonight, too.
But they're like sitting, waiting.
Still
Oh
recharging.
Jesus, I'm supposed to do laundry today. Crap.
Oh shit. Oh yeah, I gotta make cookies tonight,
Need
and
more
I'm
time.
changing my course of action because I was gonna make refrigerator cookies, but I do not have the stuff to do that right now. And that's stuff meaning specifically time,
Not ready yet.
Yeah, I'm
because you
gonna.
gotta like let it sit and let the dough get cold, and then you cut it into little cookies, and you know. But I'm gonna make lemon shortbread, which is just as good.
Oh.
Lemon. I don't like shortbread, but I like lemon things.
I have a it's my
Need more time.
my other boss's birthday. They have birthdays right close together.
Ah,
So they have birthdays within a week of each other, and
Still
my boss and his wife, who is my other boss, and then their kids share a birthday. They're about
Oh, that sucks.
5 or 6 years apart. Yeah, actually, they really like it. They're pretty tight.
oh, that's not bad. I know for some kids it can end up sucking because, you know, depending on how it's treated, it's like it feels like there's never that special thing for yourself, whatever thing, you know.
Right. Well, and their family never really made a huge deal about birthdays.
Yeah,
Like,
that
they would
helps.
celebrate. They would, they would go out to eat, but that would be it. And then they would go celebrate on their own with their friends.
Need more time.
So that was kind of cool.
Not enough fury.
Raw cookie dough is like, so good.
Oh my god,
I
I
will
love
t-
raw cookie dough.
I will take my chances with raw
Yeah.
cookie dough.
Same.
Like, if I go down with this ship, I will die happy.
Goblin! You fuck. There we go.
Ow.
Not ready yet.
Feeling a little sniffly there, Duck?
A little bit.
The allergies?
Ow.
It's allergies because, like, we had the screen door open because of grilling hamburgers and such, and so pollen. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's getting to be close to that season for me too, so I'm not looking. Today was a really nice day, and I'm like, uh-oh. I mean, obviously, it's nice that it's a nice day, but that also means that things are probably going to be blooming sooner or later, and
Yep.
Yep.
that's death for me for a while.
Well, and y'all are about to get snow, did I see?
Apparently, we're supposed to get snow this weekend.
Right, because I think that system is also going to bring,
Yeah.
like, really nasty weather to us. We were talking about it on the growing circle. I love that chat.
Yeah.
It's such a weird mix of people.
Yeah, there are things about it that I enjoy, but there are a couple. Well, actually, there's one
There's
specific
one
person
specific. Yeah.
Oh dear.
that I just like.
Not ready yet.
Okay.
Scroll button. Scroll
Yeah,
button is your friend.
Loose stitches.
Yeah.
Loose stitches.
Oh my god, loose stitches.
But I do like
I
all of
have a,
Serenity's pretty flower pictures. Like, I enjoy that.
I'm looking forward to their garden
Back to hell, dog.
because they're the gardener, and that's why. they
Yes,
started
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I blame you. She.
I've been healed.
Thanks a lot for bringing
I need fury.
all that snow. Although, like what David was saying, like, I don't think it's supposed to accumulate, but
That's good.
yeah, it's just kind of like, it's fucking April. Why is it snowing? What the hell? Because the area that we live in is like, I mean, you know, I was joking with Hush the other day that I'm like, I know it's Canada, but this is not, like, we're not that part of Canada.
Right. I specifically don't live in that part of Canada.
Yeah.
Still recharging.
We actually do get really, like, balls hot summers, and I mean, that's not really a great alternative, but we do at least get some temperate in-between zone type things. It should not be snowing in April, is all I'm saying.
What does the high get to there? I'm just curious.
Oh god, in Fahrenheit, I think our highs are like, I think we mentioned this, I was looking it up, like, we've had like 130.
Ow.
Ow.
We've had like heat stroke warnings and all that kind of fun stuff. It's very humid here, so it can be like 110 or 115, but it feels like 125.
Good God. Well,
Jeez, no,
okay,
that's
okay.
hot.
So for those of us who have lived in the South for a good while, we have to ask, how bad is the humidity?
The humidity is gross. It feels like you can cut the air with
Oh
fucking
God.
Like, it's like, I do not want to go outside on those days.
So
Yeah.
we're only going to visit you in not the summer.
I would suggest October.
Yes.
October, November, I think, is a good time. It's a little rainy sometimes, but the weather tends to hold out pretty well. Like, we got married in October, and it was actually, like, it rained in the morning, and it was,
Not ready yet.
and everything was still in bloom. So, like, the outdoor pictures all looked really good.
Oh boy.
Need more time.
Oh my god, I can't believe I dodged that. Like it did the 3 fireballs and I ran between 2 of them.
But yeah, summer, like June, July, August, is just not great. Don't go to Toronto, don't go to Windsor.
Not ready
It's
yet.
gross.
I am returning to town.
Jesus.
Oh my god, Duck.
It is a little after 10.
Oh my gosh.
Oh damn. Yeah, I can tell it is time to go to bed because Inara is looking at me again going, well. She has She has some very important biscuits that need to be made on me. Of course, you call them making pies, don't you?
I do. I don't know. I just do. David, if you're not gonna make pasta, then make me boiled eggs. Boiled eggs! Why not? Get eggs!
At this hour?
Just make some fucking eggs.
Oh, excuse me, I'll go and get a chicken.
Loki, can you lay some eggs? Loki lay eggs?
I would ask Kaylee, but she'd
Hey,
just eat them.
She's a dragon. You don't want to eat dragon eggs.
Sit.
I've always heard
There you
of
go.
an ostrich egg being like an
Fluffy.
absolute enormous egg, and it's supposed to be a little bit lighter and fluffier than chicken eggs.
There, I believe, are between 12 and 18 chicken eggs worth of egg.
Shit.
And they are, yeah, they're a little fluff. When you make like scrambled eggs out of them, they're a little fluffier. And they're a little richer. It's kind of more like duck eggs.
I've never had a duck egg. I don't
I
plan
have.
on ever having a duck egg unless I'm that hungry.
Duck eggs are delicious.
I can only deal with preserved duck eggs though if they're like in something,
It has nothing
like
to
in
do.
congee or something.
It has nothing to do with the taste. It is simply the, you know,
The implications of
Ye-
cannibalism.
yes. I mean, I get,
You eat duck meat.
I've gotten over it in certain fashions. Like, there
So
is
he
Tastes
can't
good
do-
enough.
there is a
Can't do the
type.
duck embryos.
Well, I've
God,
never
no.
I've never had them before.
Don't do it.
Like, I've had duck curry, which duck curry is, damn.
Well, I mean, curry's good.
Yeah.
You could curry a squirrel and it probably would
Mhm.
taste good,
Yep.
which is probably the point of curry.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know if Loki could lay eggs, but I'm sure he'd give it his best shot. He's a tryhard.
Hey, Inara, are you telling me? Yeah, you're telling me it's time, isn't it?
I don't enjoy duck meat on its own. Like I've had it, you know, like a whole duck or whatever, because I find it too greasy or oily.
That's fair.
But when I have it like with other things, like if it's, you know, like for example, like a duck curry, I could do. Because that's like mixed in with other veggies and stuff, and it's in a sauce, so it kind of, I think, mitigates some of the greasiness.
Mm-hmm.
But on
Yeah,
its own,
I'm-
I can't really.
I'm the same. I'm not a huge fan of duck. Like I'll eat it, you know. I'm not gonna get hungry, but I do like duck eggs, and the reason that I like duck eggs is that they're very rich.
They're yeah, like they're denser.
Duck, you remember the Hannah dinner that I did where the one of the, I think the salad course was a salad of, I forget, I think it was butter lettuce and red onion, and it was tossed with just like really high quality red wine vinegar and some Parmesan shavings.
Oh, red
Yeah, I
wine
remember
vinegar.
this.
And then on top of it, I didn't have access to duck eggs, but I put a poached chicken egg
Oh yeah.
that was just barely cooked, like just enough that the white set so that it was still runny in the middle, and you cut it, and that makes the dressing. And you
Oh
toss
my
it with your-
god, that was so good.
The first time I ever had that was actually with a duck egg.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my.
That was how I learned I like over easy eggs.
See you soon.
Yes. Yeah, no, I like preserved duck eggs are a whole other thing, and on their own, it's a terrible choice. But like in ramen, for example, or in congee, that kind of thing, it's
Yes.
good.
Yeah, that's what
So-
we were talking about super ramen, where like halfway through the process you crack an egg on top of it and let the heat itself sort of solidify the egg enough.
Oh, I just thought of
Right.
something with New York.
Oh,
Two things, actually. One is I have to look it up so I don't remember, but there's a ramen place that's close to Times Square that's really, really good.
well, we're staying in
Um,
Times Square, so
Yeah, so highly recommend. And the other thing is that if you guys are interested in like a nice kind of schmancy steak dinner, that I mean, it's going to be a little pricey, but like David and I kind of like to do our one expensive dinner whenever we go on vacation, and everywhere else, every time other time we kind of, you know, are more on the
right,
cheap,
sure.
but we have
Yeah.
like the one.
Yeah, we're kind of
sure,
the same
sure.
way.
David says lobster dinner one night and ice soup all the rest of the night.
yeah.
But there's this place that we go to now every time we go to New York called Keen's Steakhouse.
I've
And-
heard of this place.
It's very, very good. It's not far from the Empire State Building, I believe. David? Yeah, we drunk walked there after, so it's like a block or something away. I don't know. So yeah, I got to go to the Empire State Building drunk because every time we go to Keen's, we have a lot of fucking alcohol. Well, because we made reservations ahead of time and we tell them it's our anniversary because that's what we were going for.
Mhm.
So we got a free glass of champagne on top of the fact that we ordered a bottle of wine.
Nice.
Nice.
And then I always get my after dinner coffee, which is usually Bailey's and Kahlua. And
Good choices.
yeah. So there's a little bit of history. Like they've got what is it? I'm looking at the website right now. It says that Keen Steakhouse owns the largest collection of church warden pipes in the world. So they have like literally across the whole ceiling and on the walls they have pipes like all over the place.
Huh.
And
Oh my God, that sounds
they've got like
amazing.
big names of people that have been there and stuff. Like here we've got the membership roster of the Pipe Club, blah blah blah. All this pipe smoking history. And prior to 1885, Keen's was part of the Lambs Club, a famous theater and literary group founded in London, and its manager was Albert Keene. The Chop House originally opened independently under the ownership of Albert Keene, and it became a rendezvous of famous. And yeah, it's a few floors. Like the last time we went, we were on the 4th floor, I think, to eat. But it's not a huge place. It's like each floor is probably, I think that the main floor had room for maybe 30 tables. And then the floor that we were on, that like it was a kind of a little room. It looks like I think it's a converted house, like an apartment building or something. And so the floor that we were on, the room only had maybe 10 tables. And you know, they're kind of like schmancy about it all. Like you don't have to dress up to go. We kind of get a little dolled up for it because it's like a fancy thing for us. But here's the website.
Oh.
And like, you know, the guy will come over with like the cloth over his arm and everything, and like, you know, pour the wine for you and wipe the lip of the bottle. And
Oh, wow, this is fancy.
yeah, you know,
Oh,
yeah, like
yeah.
it's a nice experience and I highly recommend it. Their steak is fucking amazing and like the service is always top notch. So definitely make a reservation. I'm not even sure if you can get in with one at this point. But like, you know, that it's pretty easy, I think, to make a reservation if you know when you're going. And because it's like in a little history thing, whatever, like it's been around for over 100 years. Like it's kind of
Right.
it's one of those like David and I are nerds. We like that kind of thing. So it's not like, you know, oh yeah, we always go to the Bubba Gump Shrimp every time we go to New York, like
Oh God, no.
because you can go to that one like almost anywhere. Like Bubba Gump Shrimp is in like all those touristy kind of areas. So I mean, I'm not saying that Bubblegum Shrimp is bad. It's definitely one of those places I like to go sometimes. But
Right, but I'm not going there when I'm in New York.
yeah, it's not a New York special place.
Not when Chinatown is reachable by subway.
Yeah,
Seriously.
yeah. or when you have a choice like Keen's or the ramen house that I need to.
Well, we should probably go ahead and stop here. It is 10:15.
Yeah, I have choir business to go attend to.
Are we available next week?
I am.
I potentially might not be. It's going to depend on what my schedule looks like. I might be going to see my college's putting on a play called Neighborhood 3, which it is a horror play, like theater. Which you don't see that every day, and so I might be going to see it that night. I kind of am. It's kind of slim pickings on which night I can go see it. So I might be out, but I'm not sure. But y'all could play Ragnarok if I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll have to see if I can get that counter working or not. If not, I'll have to find some other way to track how many times I've died or gotten confused. Because, oh yeah, I don't know if I told you about that bird. So, went through the whole time playing Ragnarok Online, did not die until the last 5 minutes. I go to hit the death counter, and the game crashes.
Oh, yes, you did tell me. I didn't realize that happened, like, at the end of the stream.
Yeah, it was on stream.
Alright, well, I will see you guys next time.
Whether that's next week or the week after.
We shall see.
But definitely, unless something...
Oh, I think I found the place that we went to. The ramen place.
Oh, yeah?
I think it was, David, was it the Real Kung Fu Little Steam Buns ramen? Yeah.
And it's right there. You said it's in Times Square? Because we're staying in Times Square.
Yeah, we were in Times Square, and I was looking for places on Google Maps that were close to where we were, but that were, like, kind of, there was a certain price range I was looking for, and I didn't want fucking, like, Bubba Gum Shrimp or something. So, it was pretty highly rated. Like, I think it's at 4.2 stars. Yeah. And it's on 8th Avenue, it's like. Like, let's see, Times Square, that's where it says Times Square is. Yeah, it's like a block from Times Square. Technically 2, because it's block that way and then 2 blocks that way, so it's an easy walk at any rate.
Okay.
And they make, like, they have that whole thing where they make the ramen in the restaurant, like they're doing the noodle stuff.
Oh, nice. There's
like videos on there's like a little screen on the wall there that shows them making it too. Oh, Inglot is there on the corner. Hehe. Sorry, I really like Inglot. It's a Polish cosmetics company that I'm obsessed with.
Oh, nice.
Well, because I can also only Calgary is on our list. Inglot is not in, like, I don't even think there's one in Toronto. The only places that I've been able to buy Inglot is literally in Warsaw, Poland when I was there, because obviously that's like the headquarters sort of thing. And I've bought in New York, Las Vegas, and Los Angeles. So that's like whenever I visited any of those places, I usually make a stop at Inglot. That is very sad. Websites should have pictures if it's for a restaurant. God damn it. Anywho, I'm done now. Those are my New York recommendations.
Yay.
Oh, I'm
Alrighty,
so
much
excited.
love, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Yep. And just skittered.
Oof.
Oh, yeah. Good night, everyone.